With AI, if you can think it, you can make it. But so can cybercriminals. Norton VPN Ultimate helps protect you and your family. Combining advanced online privacy protection with AI-powered scam detection so you can live your best digital life. Today's online privacy threats have met their match. Search Norton VPN Ultimate for a fast and reliable VPN that keeps you safer online.
The way you eat a cream egg says everything about you, even who you should be with. If you eat yours all in one, you're kind of a big deal. Your perfect match is a true original who orders a tomahawk steak as a side. If you eat yours melted on toast, you're a bit out there. You should date a dreamer who believes in the Loch Ness Monster. And if you nibble yours, you're real deep. Date someone methodical who colour coordinates their bookshelf. How do you eat yours? Search Cream Egg Test. Find out who you should be with.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. Book a test drive for the fully electric range today. Head online for details. It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard as one of world football's biggest and best rivalries once again takes centre stage in Glasgow. Celtic have home advantage and can go 19 points clear with a win. Rangers come in off the back of Europa League success and led now by Barry Ferguson. Away fans are back. There might not be a title on the line, but there's no such thing as a meaningless game when these sides meet. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me this afternoon you have Andy Halliday, Gordon Dalziel and Mark Wilson.
Well, what an afternoon we have in store. Doesn't matter, Gordon, like you said there, that the 16 points of a difference when it comes down to 90 minutes between these two. It's always an exciting afternoon. Team selections will be interesting, especially the Rangers one. After going the full distance on Thursday night, will Barry Ferguson mix things up? And for Celtic, will they just keep churning out the victories? Can't wait for kick-off.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Gordon, like everybody else. After Rangers' terrific result on Thursday night, Celtic very comfortable in the league. Celtic packed to the rafters. Rangers fans back in, which is a good sign as well. Atmosphere will be there. Celtic looking for a bit of revenge from the last time these two teams met. It's a cracker in the making.
It certainly is. Let's go to the east end of Glasgow because Marvin Bartley's there alongside Andrew Maclean, who has the teams.
Yeah, you guys mentioned it. Brendan Rodgers mentioned it on Friday as well in his pre-match media duties. There are no meaningless games between Celtic and Rangers. This one, absolutely no different. Pride and bragging rights at stake. Rodgers saying, especially so after they lost 3-0 to Rangers in their last meeting. A game that means everything to those on both sides, and it will mean everything to Barry Ferguson. In the dugout at Celtic Park for the first time as Rangers interim boss, can he build on guiding them through to the last 8 of the Europa League. A fresh element today too, 2,500 Rangers fans in the ground. They've been in here for the last couple of hours in full voice, making themselves heard, and they'll be hoping that they can try and spur their team on to a big victory here at Celtic Park. But Celtic will be hoping that they can dampen their spirit. Some big team news. Out to go Austin Trusty and Callum McGregor for Celtic. Callum McGregor speaking on Friday about a calf issue that he had. He said he wasn't sure whether he was going to be able to play. He doesn't make the squad, and Austin Trusty out as well means that Mike Nawrocki comes into the starting lineup. It's his first start since the final day of last season, his first league appearance of this campaign after 2 cup cameos off the bench. Luke McCowan comes in for them as well. So it's Kasper Schmeichel in goal. The back four, Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Mike Nawrocki and Jeffrey Schlupp. The midfield three, Arnie Engels, Luke McCowan and Rail Hatate. It's Nicholas Kuhn and Jota either side of Dyson Maeda. The substitutes, Sinisalo, Taylor, Ida, Yang, Kenny, Murray, Ralston, Bonner and Turley. Just the one change for Rangers despite being taken to extra time and penalties against Fenerbahce during the week, and the change, I'm led to believe, is because of personal reasons. Jeff Day drops out the squad altogether. Ridvan Yilmaz is in his place. Jack Butland in goal for them. It will still be that back five that Rangers deployed against Fenerbahce for the home and away legs. Dujon Sterling at right wing back, Ridvan Yilmaz at left wing back, James Tavernier, John Souttar and Leon Balogun, the three central defenders. There's then that four in midfield. Václav Černý, Nicholas Raskin, Conor Barron and Mohamed Diamandi. Cyril Dessers leading the line for them today. The substitutes: Kelly, Proper, Lawrence, Barami, Nsiala, Igaman, Hadji, Rice and Danilo. The referee for this one at Celtic Park is Stephen Maclean. The VAR at Clydesdale House is John Beaton. Marvin Bartley is alongside me. A lot of intrigue in this one. Away fans are back. Mike Nawrocki is starting for Celtic, which people didn't expect. Rangers through to a European quarter-final. What can they do here at Celtic Park?
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult game for Rangers, there's no doubt about it. Like you said, Thursday go into extra time, a very quick turnaround, and then you're coming to the best team in the country on the Sunday in what is always a massive game. The guys spoke about it in the studio, how important it is to have the away fans back in, and even the Rangers fans coming out to that kind of reception from the 2,500 fans that were there. You can see it put a smile on their faces. But come 12:30, doesn't matter how many fans are in there for either team, it's about what happens on the football pitch, and I expect Celtic to start fast and Rangers have to stand up to that.
Yeah, lots to look forward to here at Celtic Park. Kick-off is in about 25 minutes time.
I think we're used, Smart Wilson, now in these days where quite often you do get a little left field bit of team news, whether it's enforced or not, and it's hard to look past that Celtic team. Mike Nawrocki, just over 20 minutes of football this season, none in the league. We maybe knew about Callum McGregor, but to add Austin Trusty to that certainly mixes things up for Celtic, doesn't it?
Oh, certainly does. I mean, that's a huge decision, and I don't think anyone going along to the game expected to see Mike Nawrocki. Big afternoon for him, big call from Brendan Rodgers, but maybe his hands are tied and it's what he had left to go with. The midfield's an interesting one as well. Callum McGregor, we're used to seeing him dictate these games. We heard Alex Ray on Friday night saying the tactics was to stop Callum McGregor in these games. That's how he thought Rangers could get the most out of their performance. Well, he's not there today, and it's Engels who'll drop into that deeper role, and a big opportunity for Luke McCown.
As for Rangers, Andy, a lot of intrigue because of the way the last few games have gone, where Barry Ferguson gets credit for going to a back three, then sticks with it but has to come away from it in the home leg. I take it that's the way you expect him to go today, and what's the thinking there?
I think given the starting lineup, it certainly seems as if he's going with the same formation. I thought it was understandable going back to Ibrox for the second leg against Fenerbahce, given how successful it was over in Istanbul. But the fact of the matter is, for me, I don't think it worked at Ibrox, and I thought when they started to look more of an attacking threat, it was when they changed to a 4. So again, I just question, I don't understand why Dujon Sterling's a right wing back and James Tavernier's a right centre half. I feel like James Tavernier will offer you so much more going forward than a Dujon Sterling at right wing back, whereas I don't feel there's a significant downgrade if Dujon Sterling does play right centre half. But what I will say is they have to be compact, they have to be hard to beat, but they have to offer much more than an attacking threat than they did on Thursday.
Yeah, I think there could be a wee tweak in that formation. I think when you see the personnel, I think we all agree it might be that 3 at the back, but they could actually throw a wee surprise in and go with a back 4 and put Tavernier at right back, Sterling one in front, Černý off the left, and Diamandi just off Dessers. They could maybe do something like that, or they're just going to look at their performance away from home against Fenerbahce, which was excellent in that formation, and say that's the right way to go, because you're going to give up a lot of space in the wide areas. Celtic's 2 fullbacks will push up very high. You've got 2 wingers there as well, so it'll be interesting tactically how this game plans out.
Marvin, how big a blow is that team news for Celtic? How much does it give Rangers encouragement, or does Celtic have more than enough to combat this? There's no way Brendan Rodgers wants to play Mike Nawrocki in this game because he barely plays him in any other.
Yeah, I think it's a massive blow for Celtic, for the players and the supporters, as you said, with Trusty normally being back there, and if Trusty's not playing, then Scales comes in. Like you said, I don't think you'd ever envision these two playing centre half together in this game. For Nawrocki, he's not played, as we spoke about at the start of the show, since the back end of last season in terms of starting a league game. So it's a massive ask for him as well, and from Rangers' point of view, when they see that team sheet, Callum McGregor's not on there, but Trusty as well, that's an added bonus. And Andy will tell you, when you're sitting in the dressing room and you do see that news, it gives you a slight boost. But from Rangers' point of view now, I expect them to press him at every occasion. I expect them to let the ball go to him, and he'll be the trigger for a lot of things. So he's going to have to stand up and be counted for it, and a lot's going to be said in terms of how he's looked after himself as well, Gordon, because when you're not playing games of football, it's very difficult to remain fit and remain mentally switched on. He wouldn't have expected to play in this game, but he's been thrusted into it at 12:30, and he needs to be ready.
Yeah, Mark, what about Callum McGregor? I'm fascinated with the reaction to the news, even during the week, that he was potentially a doubt, because we had a few Celtic fans saying not actually that worried there, because Arne Engels has played as a 6 over in Germany, and any time in game that's had to happen recently, Celtic have looked good, maybe even looked better. But there must be a reason manager after manager at Celtic plays Callum McGregor in these games. He's done it all, he's seen it all, he's been part of so many highs in the fixture. Is it as simple as saying that it's not a blow because Arne Engels can go back there?
I think it is a blow. I mean, quite simply, Callum McGregor's the best player at Celtic and has been for a number of years, and in these fixtures he has came to the fore. We're just watching reruns of his goal earlier on the season and he's been fantastic, a driving force when things have went badly. He's the one to pick up the tempo, but when Celtic have been in control of games, he's the one that dictates the tempo. So as good as Engels is, and he'll fit in there no problem, you want your best players in these fixtures. So Barry Ferguson will see that as a plus point for his team. You take the leader out of any team and there will be a bit of a hole there. It's up to Engels to step up, but I touched on it earlier, McCown's a big one. A lot of Celtic fans like him, want to see him starting more games. These are the big games that you want to start when you go to Celtic, so a big opportunity for him today.
Let's go back to Celtic Park just quickly, because sometimes, Marvin, when you get to this stage, I'm thinking 20 minutes to kick off, you can look at the warm-up, you can sometimes see teams doing individual work and so on and get a flavour for what they're thinking. Is there any clues out there?
Yeah, it looks like Rangers could be going with a back four. You've got Tavernier in at right back, and the four defenders are warming up together, and Sterling's along with Neil McCann in the centre of the pitch, taking on what seems like a lot of information. So whether they've got the news of Callum McGregor not playing and decided to alter things, or whether this is always the plan, I'm unsure, but it definitely looks as though Rangers are warming up in the back four. Again, are they trying to do the old double bluff because they know the Celtic coaching staff will be watching? I'm unsure, but as I said, Sterling was in the centre of the pitch with Neil McCann, and they're going through a few things, and he was going through a few headers whilst doing that as well. So maybe Gordon is right in terms of saying they could go into a back four today.
Yeah, look, they've got the option. That's the one thing. I was just trying to point that out, Gordon, and it'll be interesting to see.
Stop being humble. You're absolutely buzzing that you might have called it right there. You were punching the air.
Listen,
took your top off, swirled around your head.
Okay, I did do that, but no, it'll be interesting to see how they do line up. They might surprise us. Look, Andy will tell you, nowadays warm-ups are completely different. You can't get any clues whatsoever, but I think they've got the potential if they want to go to a back four, because I think a three at the back with two wing backs, I think Celtic will absolutely dominate the game against them.
Yeah, listen, you should know, Gordon, being at the Well games plenty of times this year, it's quite often we warm up in the back four as well, but once the game kicks off we're in a different shape. But listen, Barry Ferguson spoke during the week about being flexible, so I think with the versatility I do John Sterling in your team, I think it allows you to be flexible. You could start with a three, you could change to a four like they did during the week, but one thing's for sure, I think they must have more of an attacking outlet in the wider areas than they did on Thursday to have a chance.
If you were in that Rangers dressing room and you saw Callum McGregor's name not on the team sheet, and you saw what is Mike Nawrocki, well, he's definitely fourth choice at best, does it give you a boost? I'm not going to rewrite things. Celtic are favourites, they're at home, they've got a huge advantage in the league and all that stuff, so not wanting to overplay it, but does it give you a glimmer?
Listen, I think it is a boost, but I don't think the influence of Callum McGregor being out is as significant as it was over the last couple of seasons. I think Engels has shown that he's more than capable to replace him in that number 6 position, and I think Luke McCowan coming into the team, I think he's been excellent for Celtic this season as well. And if I seen Mike Nawrocki in the starting lineup over a Cameron Carter-Vickers, I would be bouncing about the changing room, to be honest with you. But I think, again, I get completely he's not played any games this season, but I don't know if Martin Dazzler agree with me. I think sometimes these are the games, if you get flung straight in, are sometimes easier. I think when you're playing, say, a St Mirren or a Motherwell or something like that at home, I think you're on a hiding to nothing, because everyone's expecting your clean sheet, everyone's expecting a comfortable afternoon for you. But listen, it's obviously Rangers, knowing that he's not had a lot of game time, it might be an area they'll try and exploit.
I think that's what you've got to do if you're Barry Ferguson and you see Nawrocki. You've got to test him early on. You've got to put Dessers up against him and maybe go a wee bit direct and just get bodies round about him just to see what he's like, because you're not going to know. He's obviously not had a lot of game time at Celtic for a reason, and I backed him when he came. I said, and Hugh Keevins was here, and Hugh Keevins said he wasn't good enough, and I backed him, but Hugh was probably right. Time will tell on that situation, and he's not played a lot of football, so you've got to test him this afternoon if you're Rangers.
I agree with what Andy says there. It's incredible that if you're a player and you get unexpectedly thrown into one of these big games, you can just rise to the occasion. Okay, you can certainly sink, because this game can do that to you, but it can work the other way. Yes, I agree. If I was Dessers, that's the side I would be going and playing on, no doubt about it, and try to test them early. You talk about McGregor. Of course, with experience, he knows how to win these games, he knows how to dictate them. But there's just a lot of Celtic fans think there's a little bit of freshness with McCown in there, Ingles, Hatate as well. Look, I always think you miss experience in these types of fixtures. It's a fascinating game, I've got to say.
I just wonder as well, Mark, because obviously when you think Callum McGregor, we tend to talk about being key to the way Celtic play and setting the tempo and dictating things. But one of you did allude to it, he's a real goal for it this season.
Yeah.
So we may be taking that away as well.
Well, of course. I mean, the goal he scores earlier on this season, fantastic strike, and he's done that time and time again. So you're taking goals out your side. The thing that goes in your favour though, and Daz said that you've got guys who come in and are a goal threat as well. McCown's did very well since his came at Engels. How many has he got? Probably about 8 goals this season as well. And Hatate, so there's still goals within that. But I think it's a huge blow for Celtic. I've got to go back to it. I think McGregor in this fixture has been massive over the years.
Andy, looking at Rangers and making minimal changes from Thursday night, I wonder, are these players not tired, or have they been told they're not tired? We spent this season debating about Philippe Clement and whether he used that stuff too much and whether he focused on red zones and sports science. So, I wonder if this is a team who is completely fresh, or if it's a team that sort of do you know what I mean, under instruction from the manager to get on with it.
I think it's a fixture like no other that adrenaline alone can take you through. So for me, I think fitness or tiredness, I think, can only potentially come into play over the last 15-20 minutes, where nowadays in football you can make 5 changes. So I think Rangers will be looking at their bench today to come on and make a significant impact. But I don't think it should be any excuse from a Rangers point of view, specifically at the start of the game.
What's your take on it, Marvin? Because you would be forgiven after 120 minutes and penalties. Leon Balogun's getting on a bit, as the phrase goes, and others were sort of cramping up. So are you surprised to see so few changes?
Yeah, I am surprised. I really, really am. I get what Andy and the guys are saying there, but I think when you come to Celtic Park and in such a huge game and you're underdogs anyway, Celtic would have been rubbing their hands together seeing Rangers play the 120 minutes. As I said earlier as well, the turnaround is extremely tight. You're coming to a team who are going to dictate their play, they're going to keep the ball, they're going to move you around, they're going to make you run. And Andy is right, the last 20-25 minutes of the game they really will feel it, but if they start the game slowly here, Rangers, and Celtic start at a high tempo, you start to feel it a lot earlier.
Yeah, sorry, I was scared him on the voice coming back there on the tannoy, and it just put me off a wee bit. That's enough to ruin anybody's afternoon for sure. On the Barry Ferguson factor, Andy, you know him, you've worked with him. How do you think he'll be feeling today? Short term, what he's trying to do today, maybe what he's trying to achieve longer term.
I think he'll relish going back to Celtic Park, and someone as a player and a captain, relish these big occasions. I think knowing that he's only in the job on an interim basis, he knows that these big games are few and far between, so I'm sure he'll relish every occasion that he's got. But listen, there's been some debates over the last couple of weeks. Is there, can he potentially get the job towards the end of the season? If Barry Ferguson is to get the job, which is a big if, you've got to say, then today's massive for him. And a personal point of view, he has to come away for a win at Celtic Park, and he needs a deep run in the Europa League, because you quite rightly pointed out, a lot of people are saying this is a dead rubber, this is this doesn't mean too much in the scale of the league title, which is true, but bragging rights is still a massive thing in Glasgow, as you all know.
Because Gordon, we are fickle and we always will be, so I respect people who say they want to think bigger picture and say it can't all come down to one game. But just as an example, purely hypothetical, and I'm not saying it'll happen, if Celtic win 5-0 today, how could Barry Ferguson remain in the conversation the way that he has been in the last week or so? So it's massive, surely.
Andy's right, he's got to get results. If he's going to put himself in the frame, I'm with Andy. I think about the new investors coming in, I don't think he'll be the manager, but if he shows what he's capable of, then you don't let him out the building. You work with him somewhere, capacity. I sort of disagree with Andy. Not the fact he can come away or win. I think if you went in chapter door now and said, look, I'll give you a draw, I think you'd take your hand off because of what's happened on Thursday night. I'm not making excuses. I sort of look at their squad there when Marv says, yeah, we would all look at changes and a bit of fresh legs in there, but I don't think they've got the quality You know what I mean? To start at Celtic Park with the likes of Hadjis and Baramis and people like that. So I totally understand why he's went with the same team. Tiredness will only come in if they lose the first goal early.
Well, it's going to be an interesting afternoon either way, and kick-off at Celtic Park is next.
With AI, if you can think it, you can make it. But so can cybercriminals. Norton VPN Ultimate helps protect you and your family. Combining advanced online privacy protection with AI-powered scam detection so you can live your best digital life. Today's online privacy threats have met their match. Search Norton VPN Ultimate for a fast and reliable VPN that keeps you safer online.
The longest successful points kick in international rugby history was 70 yards, 8.5 inches. That's nothing. The new Volkswagen ID.7 Tourer has a range of up to 424 miles. That's 746,240 yards. It's got the distance. Volkswagen ID.7 Tourer. Miles better. ID.7 Tourer official test range 358 to 424 miles when fully charged depending on trim. May not reflect real-life driving.
Looking to get car or van insurance double quick? Go, go, go! To mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. Car or van, work or play. Compare insurance with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Of course, the fans are back as well, which adds an extra element to today's game between Celtic and Rangers. Andy Halliday's very excited. He's spotted his dad in the crowd. He's just jumped off his stool, started pointing furiously at the TV. But anyway, we are nearly there. Just a few minutes to go until kick-off. So let's go back to Celtic Park. Marvin Bartley and Andrew Maclean will take us up.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers with such a good record against Rangers across his 2 spells at Celtic, and that 3-0 defeat at Ibrox at New Year. That will have hurt him, despite the fact that Celtic are marching their way to the league title this season. He'll be hoping for a response from his players. The players will be desperate to give one for their supporters, but there are 2,500 Rangers fans here that will be demanding the same from their team. They've got that high from reaching the last 8 of the Europa League a few days ago. You can tell spirits are high because they've been in here singing for the last 2.5 hours, and they were singing the name of Barry Ferguson as well when he came out for a pitch walk, just waiting for the teams to make their way out onto the pitch. I'll give you a recap of those teams. Some very interesting team news from Celtic. Austin Trusty injured, doesn't make the squad. Callum McGregor exactly the same. It means Mike Nawrocki comes in for his first start of the season, his first start since the last day of the last campaign. He's only made 2 appearances this season off the bench in cup competitions. Luke McCowan comes in as well. So Kasper Schmeichel in goal for Celtic today. Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Mike Nawrocki and Jeffrey Schlupp in defence. Across the midfield, Arnie Engels, Luke McCowan and Rail Hatate, Nicholas Kuhn and Jota either side of Dyson Maeda. The substitutes: Sinisalo, Taylor, Ida, Yang, Kenny, Murray, Ralston, Bonner and Turley. Barry Ferguson makes just one change despite going to extra time and penalties with Fenerbahce on Thursday night. Jefty drops out of the squad altogether due to personal reasons. Redvan Yilmaz comes in. We thought it might be the back 5 that they started with in the 2 games against Fenerbahce, but watching the warm-up, it looks likely that it's going to be a back 4. So Jack Butland in goal. The back 4: James Tavernier, John Souttar, Leon Balogun and Redvan Yilmaz. A midfield 5 of Václav Černý, Nicholas Raskin, Conor Barron, Mohamed Diamandi and Dujon Sterling. Cyril Dessers leading the line for the away team. The substitutes: Kelly, Proper, Lawrence, Barami, Insiala, Igaman, Haji, Rice and Danilo. The referee for this one is Stephen McLean. The VAR is John Beaton. Marvin, the guys were talking about it in the studio about there being an away following at these games. Again, the biggest away following at one of these matches since 2018. The first time there have been away fans at all since 2023. 2,500 Rangers fans in that corner. They've got netting around them. There's a lot of stipulations that have had to be put into place to make sure that it can happen. They were shuttled across from the Emirates into the stadium about 2.5 hours before kick-off, but it just really adds an extra element to these games, doesn't it?
Yeah, the atmosphere here is absolutely electric, and this is what Scottish football's all about. The 2 biggest clubs in the country going head to head, fans from both clubs. As you said, 2,500 Rangers fans in there making as much noise as they possibly can. Celtic fans packed to the rafters. This is what it's about, you know. Nationally it's being watched, internationally it's being watched. For far too long our derby's been starved of away fans, and I'm just delighted that they're back in here and the atmosphere is like it is today.
Yeah, there's always a big question about quality on the pitch for these games, but so much of it comes down to mentality, and there's got to be a few players, certainly the whole Rangers squad, mentality and adrenaline for them to try and get through after Thursday night. And then you look to the Celtic team. Mike Nawrocki will be the one that Celtic fans will be looking at to see how he'll perform, being out in the wilderness for so long to then be thrown into a game like this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Listen, he needs his teammates to help him through this, especially the first 5 or 10 minutes as he begins to find his feet. But he'll be relishing this. You know, when you sign for Celtic Football Club, this is a game that you look at domestically. These are the games you want to play, and he's been given his opportunity. Did he expect it? Probably not, but he's out there now. The game kicks off in a minute or so's time. He'll be absolutely delighted that he's playing. He'll be looking forward to it. And Celtic will be looking to take the game to Rangers, and Rangers will be looking to do exactly the same to Celtic.
You look at the two dugouts, Brendan Rodgers in one dugout, who has had so much success in this fixture, so much success in Scottish football over the years, and his opposite number, Barry Ferguson, in the very early days of management. We know about his career down the divisions. He's only had 4 games in charge of Rangers so far. I've been delighted with what he's done in terms of the Europa League and getting Rangers through against Fenerbahce. How will he be feeling standing hands in pockets, just looking around the stadium at the moment as the Celtic fans sing "You'll Never Walk Alone"? This will be a huge moment for him coming up against such an experienced manager in Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, listen, Barry's been there as a captain and as a player, and we know that, but being a manager's totally different, because he can't cross the white line, he can't play the game for his players. He'll be trying to soak it in. There'll be nervous energy, no doubt about it, as Brendan Rodgers will have, regardless of the amount of games that he's been in like this. But yeah, you know, Barry's looking at his own fans as the Celtic fans sing "They'll Only Walk Alone." He'll be trying to get that energy on side. He'll be trying to get them on side, and he knows that they'll be vitally important for his team today.
The Celtic fans break out of their huddle. The scarves are up in the home end as they sing "You'll Never Walk Alone." The Rangers players made their way over to the corner where the Rangers supporters are to applaud them for following them to this match. It is going to be an exciting afternoon, as it always is, between Celtic and Rangers. There are 16 points between the teams in the Scottish Premiership, but that all goes out the window for the next 90 minutes. There will be 22 players out there determined to make sure that they leave this stadium with all 3 points. Nicholas Raskin standing over the ball in the centre circle, waiting for the signal from Stephen Maclean to get this game underway. Celtic against Rangers. We're live.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes. With M&D Green Pharmacy. Planning your holiday? Get essential health advice and medication before you travel.
There is something about this fixture. They meet a minimum of 4 times a season, usually more, and somehow it never gets old. I can sense the tension in this studio, never mind inside Celtic Park and in homes and pubs and wherever else all across the country and beyond this afternoon. So let's get stuck in and see what this afternoon has in store for us. We've got an early free kick for Rangers, a chance to cross the ball into the box. Diomande went down, and Tavernier and Cherney standing over it. Go on then, you three, give us a score prediction, please.
I think Rangers have to score 2 goals to win the game, and Celtic have conceded 3 goals at home all season. So I just can't see it happening. I see nothing but a Celtic win. I'm going 2-0 Celtic.
I think it'll be tight as well. I'm going to go 1-0 Celtic.
I'm going to sit in the fence, 1-1.
Well, it's a good ball in from James Tavernier, teasing Jeffrey Schlupp, who of course is in almost become a very quick automatic choice, I think, for the Celtic fans. Him and Greg Taylor battling out in the initial weeks. Maybe bad timing. Greg Taylor goes away and parental paternity leave for a couple of days, and Jeffrey Schlupp comes in and has pretty much stayed in, so he clears the ball away. First corner. We always say, you know, those set pieces.
I'll tell you what I've noticed, Gordon. I think Tavernier's playing right wing back, and they put Sterling in at the back, and that may be for a bit of extra pace. We've not seen it clear enough, but just in the early stages, I know Tavernier does take the free kicks, but once it settles down, it'll be interesting to see if the Rangers captain's on the right hand side, Sterling's back into the middle of the park, gives them a bit of pace in the wide areas if they get caught between the right back and the centre half.
Again, because they do play so often, you feel like we've seen it all even in recent seasons. Andy, how can we forget Daisen Maeda's goal within seconds when he closed down James Tavernier? earlier on in the season at Celtic Park, Rangers started quite brightly and pressed really high. Celtic got a disallowed goal, it changed everything. Celtic cruised it, and Rangers go and cruise it in the last meeting, even although they are domestically inferior. Let's not forget they have scored 6 goals in the last 2 meetings against Celtic.
Yeah, they have. And listen, I actually think that I think the game's been really close over the last 2 fixtures, which is probably coincides with why Mark thinks it's going to be close again today. But listen, I think the start of the game is going to be ever so potent, as it always is. You always feel like if Celtic score the first goal, there's only going to be one winner. But you've got to say, I know it's only been a couple of minutes, but Rangers have started the game ever so well so far.
Pinned them in the corner. Celtic can't get out this corner. Set pieces, corners, 2 long throw-ins.
First shot at goal, and it's a close one from Nicholas Raskin, left-footed. Kasper Schmeichel pushed it away.
Maybe a bit unsighted. I think it came through some bodies, but he's right to take it on. He's about 20 yards out there.
I've got to
Does
say,
Kasper Schmeichel have to do better with the save? I know he keeps it out, but it feels like he almost pushes it into the corner.
He doesn't get a strong wrist on it at all, does he?
I think you've got to save that, Andy. I'm fed up with goalkeepers.
What do you mean he did
save it?
No, sorry. Catch it.
No, he can't catch it.
Oh, come on.
I think you're right, Gordon. I think he can push it out rather than behind for a corner.
I think you're correct. He nearly put it in the back of your net. But what a start it is from Rangers so
3.5 minutes gone. Rangers have been in the Celtic penalty box, and we've got an opening goal already.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Celtic 0, Rangers 1, and it's Nicholas Raskin. Barry Ferguson punches the air in delight. Raskin sneaks across the front post, heads the ball in from James Tavernier's corner, and Rangers lead at Celtic Park.
Yeah, it comes from a set play, and you've got to say Rangers have been, we thought Celtic would be on the front foot, come out, but Rangers have been terrific. Tavernier, free kick. You wouldn't expect Raskin to get in there. It's a terrific header, a great header, nobody in the back post. Schmeichel, absolutely no chance, route it to the spot. What a start for Rangers.
It's hard to stop that. A great run from Raskin. What a delivery, right on the money, front of the 6-yard box, and Raskin just needs to divert it. Schlupp can't get up, and he just nicks it into the back post. What a start.
Wow, they go for the train approach. They go for Celtic try and mark him tightly, and he just gets away for Jeffrey Schlupp. He gets the run on him, and wow, 5'9" Raskin ends up 7'2". I can't believe the leap on him.
Right, yeah, Andy, you playing the modern day game, right? I hate the fact that at set plays corners you don't put people in the post.
Yeah, well, I think
I can't understand that, and there's nobody got to tell me a reason why.
Yeah, well, I think Daisen Maeda's role in the corner is to be that sort of front 6 player. If you can go and attack it, and if it goes over your head, you're back onto the post.
Yeah, but if you've got somebody in the back post, they're just putting their foot through that.
Yeah, but is it? To be fair, is there not a reason now that it's become?
It's the wrong reason. Nobody will tell me that word's
popular.
No, listen,
but is it not for what generally you gain else? Look, clearly you're right on this occasion.
No, but I'm talking about in general. I've been watching this since the start of the season.
Is it not because where you gain elsewhere?
Well, gain an extra number.
See, be fair, right? You're not expecting Raskin to get in there. And I've got to say, right, he's call up to Belgium. He's on fire, this boy. He's been really, really excellent, I've got to say.
Especially because the one thing he's not is a goal threat.
Yeah.
You know, he has been excellent, but that's not what you expect him to be in the team for.
I think his 2 goals have been headers now as well for set plays.
The delivery's brilliant because you're working those sorts of things on the training ground, putting it right at the front of the 6, and the timing of the run, the speed of the run has to be spot on, and Raskin gets away from Schlupp. That's all you need. All you need is a yard and he's up and over him.
If you are of a Celtic persuasion, are you critical of Jeffrey Schlupp? Because like I said, that everyone is very quick to write Greg Taylor off, and I'm not saying Greg Taylor's got huge aerial ability, but quick to write him off, and Schlupp is chance for Celtic, and it's a
offside. He's surely offside.
He
looks offside.
Yeah, the flag goes up.
But just talking about that formation, it is Tavernier is playing as a right wing back. Sterling's went in there as a back 3, and I think that's to give them a little bit of protection with more pace.
I think as well, Daz, I think it's got to give them more in an attacking outlet as well. And you've got to say, you feel as if James Tavernier does that. How many callers have we had, Gordon, on this show that says, you know, play James Tavernier one up? He struggles defensively in these games, play him in that right wing slot. So you just feel it, as soon as Rangers went to a back 5 with a right wing back, then that's more suited to him.
Mark, what do you think Jeffrey Schlupp, does he need to do better?
I think he needs to be more aware that Raskin's going to make that run across the front. Sometimes it is hard to stop, but
I'll tell you what, Arnie Engels has been absolutely robbed by Diomande, but it's cut out. But Celtic look a bit shaky.
So these are your moments. You do need a Callum McGregor. See, when you go one behind in these fixtures, you need someone with experience just to say, let's just settle down. but they can't get a hold of the ball. They can't string 3 passes together.
I'm not being disrespectful here, because Celtic have got such a strong squad and good players. But see, when you see that Celtic team coming in today, right? No McGregor in there, Trusty or Scales in the left side, I think the players got a little lift from that. I really do, and they've started great. There's a terrific
ball over the top,
pass.
Maeda, but it's going to go through to Jack Butland, who does well, because you have to be alert when he's around Maeda.
Yeah, and listen, it's a lovely pass for Philip McKeown. He takes it on his back foot. He knows that Rangers' line is quite high in that moment in time, and Dalziel Maeda is always trying to put on the shoulder. But you've got to say it's excellent goalkeeping for Jack Butland. You know, that to try and nullify the pace of Dalziel Maeda, you need to have that higher starting position. He comes out and collects it well.
Really good, his movement's great. Just comes to the ball and then just drops the shoulder. So hard to stop, and he's right. Butland being higher just nullifies that. A wee bit better from Celtic in that occasion.
Listen, we're only 7 minutes in, but we all questioned that they tired legs after the 120 minutes on Thursday. But you've got to say, Rangers have set their stall out early. They're trying to play in Celtic's half. They're going with a more direct approach, but out of possession as well. They've steamed into a couple of challenges. Chance again.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, Czerny goes for a volley and it goes wide. It is just a direct approach. You put it long to Dessers. You don't need to win the first header.
But that's what I said. You would put Dessers on Nawrocki, get bodies round about him for that second ball. That's exactly what's happened. Simple stuff, but effective.
He's got quality, Czerny.
How similar or different is this to Fenerbahce, Andy, in terms of the way Rangers approach? Because I was looking at, the formation might be similar, but they're pressing Celtic very high, almost like the way Rangers did when the sides met here in the first meeting of the season.
Yeah, pressing higher up the pitch, but listen, we're so early in the game, but the defensive line is at least 10-15 yards higher. But maybe that is just, the Fenerbahce game at Ibrox, they were trying to hold on to a 2-goal advantage.
Chance for Hatate. Oh, what a save! Jack Butland, that's outstanding from the goalkeeper. It was a fine strike from Reo Hatate. Looked like it was getting into the top corner. Jack Butland had other ideas, and it remains 1-0 to the visitors.
That's a proper save.
I'm giving the goalkeeper credit for that. I'll tell you what, Hatate gives him the eyes, didn't he? But
standing.
And Butland, who come in for a bit of criticism this season, he's had not the best season, you could say, but what a save that is.
Arne Engels with the corner then. Can Celtic do to Rangers what they did to them at the other end? And he's going to whip it in. It's another good ball, but right onto the head of Leon Balogun.
I mean, I've got to say, ever since Arne Engels just came to Celtic, his set piece delivery is on the money 99 times out of 100, and it's always with such pace as well that looks as if there's an issue for Nico Raskin.
I think he felt he took a kick or something on the edge of the box that was missed, but we'll get another look at it. Just seeing that fingertip save from Jack Butland again.
Yeah, terrific, innit? Terrific.
And during that passage of play there, it's that sort of inside channel run that Celtic do ever so often that creates a chance for them. They get that cut back to Reo Hatate 25 yards out, and Daz is right. We've questioned Jack Butland for his form this season. Certainly wasn't the type of form we used to see him last season, but maybe a bit of confidence for him.
Ooh, slack from Leon Balogun. Nicholas Kuhn has it, but John Suter just about manages to hold him up.
I've got to say, 10 minutes in, we've got a game on. It really is. And I
Celtic
think
have settled a bit, haven't they?
Yeah, you're all going to expect that.
Here goes Jota 1-on-1 with Tavernier for the first time, but Schlupp maybe takes his space. Nothing worse than you daft fullbacks, Mark Wilson, getting in the way of the flair players.
Tavernier will be delighted to see Maeda through the middle now in Jota.
Exactly, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? Would Celtic be half tempted to switch them? If they see James Tavernier's that right wing back, are they tempted to move Dalziel Maeda out there?
No, I don't think Jota would look comfortable there for me. And plus the fact you're talking about Jota, Tavernier I know he's got bags of pace made, but Jota is a very skillful player.
Okay, another corner for Arne Engels over on that far side.
Nobody on the post, Stas. Nobody on the post again.
See, if you analyse football in the last season and a half, I will guarantee you that is a mistake.
All football's
called the DL mistake.
2 in the post.
Arne Engels again, a good delivery. It's another good piece of defending from Leon Balogun.
That Balogun's all over him there. It looked like he was being impeded.
Yeah, we'll have another look at it, as we always do now, with the microscope that VAR provides. Leon Balogun, good defending from his perspective. Play goes on anyway, so
it's good for Dessers.
Really good, and he might just set Rangers away here because it's Nicholas Kuhn that's been caught out, and Czerny's got James Tavernier.
He's got to release it.
He's done well though. He still has it.
He's been excellent for Rangers lately, hasn't he? You look at him the other night, we thought he was going to come off. He just keeps going and going and going. So sharp. But I think Barry Ferguson will be looking at this and think, couldn't ask for a better start. Delighted. We're just looking at this incident again Mark was talking about. It's the both of them. It's just a typical two centre halves battling for the ball.
I always say the ones that you're really looking out for is when one player is getting away from the other and they're sort of held back with a real kind of pull or a stretch. I'm not sure that ticked that box, Mark, did it?
No, I don't think so. He was coming over the top of him, but no, I don't think so.
It's called just the ex-Celtic man grasping at straws, Gordon.
I said I don't think so.
Not at the beginning.
So 12.5 minutes gone and we do have a game in our hands. Rangers taking the early lead. Celtic looking a bit rattled by it, but finding their feet to an extent. Still clear to see what Rangers are capable of. I was thinking even just there when Cherney came in field, looked second favourite, but then won it back off Nicholas. Can you remember that 3-0 here earlier this season? How physically off it Cherney looked, maybe even mentally. People said, did he have the heart for this type of environment? He looks a totally different player and character now.
Yeah, he does. In that specific scenario there, him and Dessers were isolated against 5 Celtic players, and I thought that was the case in loads of the game on Thursday night. But what he does is he takes that extra touch, but I feel as if Nicholas Kuhn has an unbelievable chance to nick it off him and set Celtic on the other way, but Cherney somehow ends up coming away with the ball again. So we are moving towards the first quarter of the hour mark. The TV picture showing us some nice helicopter shots or drone shots or something of Nicholas Raskin's goal.
You can criticise defending there. I think that's brilliant play from Raskin.
It's a brilliant header, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great run. It's all about the timing. And I'll tell you what, it's a good ball from Tavernier.
Yep.
He doesn't need to do a lot. There's the paces on the ball. Guide it to the back post. Take your chance. And for them, it ended up in the back of the net. Brilliant start.
I think as well, the guys we're talking about, Mike Navrosky coming into the team. Regardless if you're in the team every week, you've not played for a while, you want to complete your first pass, you want to win your first header. It's the first 2 headers that he's went up for Dessers now, he's not won. So again, I think it's really important that you try easy as you sail into the game, make a couple of passes, win your duels. But as it stands just now, Dessers is getting into a right physical battle with him.
How will Brendan Rodgers be feeling about this, Mark?
Well, obviously he would like his team to settle a bit more than they have done. They had a couple of wee minutes there that they looked like they were getting into their usual rhythm, but a lot of stop-start, ball out of play a lot, and that will suit Rangers. So I think he'll be frustrated with the team's start. I think obviously if you lose a goal at set piece, you think, could we have done better? And you're right, maybe Schlupp could have been side on to see Raskin coming and blocked his run. But Rangers really aggressive in their press here, not letting Celtic settle at all.
Look, McKeown a couple of times now done really well, taking out a tight areas. You just got away from Raskin there, and Raskin with the old tactical foul.
Does it help, Mark? It just shows although we spend so much time focusing on tactics and patterns and that stuff, and rightly so at times, but the thing that really gets Rangers the lead here is just that bit of territory just at the start. It's just a couple of throw-ins. It's nothing out of this world, but you win another throw in and another, and then the territory's there and it stays for a couple of minutes and it's a corner, and as we know, obviously you need to do your own hard graft, but there's an element of anything can happen when it gets to a set piece.
Well, of course, it was a great start. They had a free kick within 30 seconds, couple of long throws, couple of corners, and the opposite side of your side.
Oh, this is almost certainly going to be a huge chance for Rangers. Is it going to be 2? No, it's not.
What is he doing?
That was incredible. Kasper Schmeichel was out his goal. It went to Václav Černý. It looked almost certain that he was just going to score.
Gordon, Kasper Schmeichel's 35 yards out of his goal when Černý gets the ball.
Yeah,
he's got to shoot with his right.
It is a howler from Kasper Schmeichel, followed by a howler from Václav Černý.
If he's not shooting, he's got to look at Dessers. Dessers is in the middle. He's not comfortable on his right foot. He's not comfortable.
How one-footed is that, Andy?
No, that honestly, right, for anyone that's not watching the game and just tuning in, that is horrific from Václav Černý. He does well to steal the ball, he anticipates it. We're not exaggerating when we say Kasper Schmeichel is 35 yards out his goal with an empty net on Černy's right foot. He can just roll it in, but he takes a couple of touches, ends up with 1-on-1, takes it by him, goes for the cutback when again he can shoot with his right foot, and Celtic clear for a corner.
Fans must hate that stuff. Are we seriously saying a international footballer can't roll the ball along the ground with his right foot into an empty net?
I cannot believe what I've just seen there. I mean, one from Schmeichel is usually so good with the ball at his feet, but then Černý, a professional footballer, just needs to roll that into the empty net.
And
incredible
you're
for Celtic.
talking with somebody with great ability as well. He should, yeah. I agree with the boys. I don't know what he's thinking there. And then he takes all the time trying to get it back on his left foot. That is the biggest chance for a long time in one of these games. He should have put it in the back of net.
We're definitely going to see loads of pictures on social media for the freeze frame as soon as that gets to Václav Černy's foot, where Kasper Schmeichel actually is outside his goal.
Yeah, he then comes back. By this point, Kasper Schmeichel's in a position, he tries to go round Kasper Schmeichel, which he does, but he's at a tight angle, and then Cameron Carter-Vickers is there to clear the danger. Mark, Celtic's press doesn't seem to be working very effectively either.
Well, you've got width with Tavernier and Yilmaz, and you've got Sterling and Balogun stretching the back line, so it's quite interesting how Celtic are approaching it. They did go their three right up against Rangers there, and they've got a wee bit of success, forced a mistake.
No, you don't do that.
Yeah, James Tavernier just chests it back into play. He seems to have, he does have the physical advantage over Jota, though. A couple of times he's just been stronger than him.
I think Jota's got a foul there, but
no, it's a throw-in.
It's a throw-in.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a throw-in. Jota was lying off.
Yeah, throw-in.
He gets a throw-in, but what's Dujon Sterling doing? Why are you kicking the ball out? I don't know if Dujon Sterling thinks that Celtic are going to get a foul and just proceeds to kick the ball at the pitch, but he can just take a touch and carry it up the field. Yeah,
because Jota's playing for it, isn't he? What a start to a game.
But Jota's not finding it easy, Mark, because we said that.
You know what, they've got numbers in wide areas, Rangers, so Jota's now got Tavernier up against him, but Sterling just inside as well, and a midfielder coming across, so it's not as easy as just sloop on the underlap and you outnumber your opposition, which Celtic are very good at. Rangers have got numbers in the wide area to nullify Celtic.
Well, where are the other areas then that Celtic aren't taking advantage of?
We've not seen Kuhn either, have we? Down the right hand side. He's not influenced the game at all. I think Rangers' press has been brilliant. I really do.
Yeah, Diomande forces McCowan into a mistake. McCowan commits the foul, and it's a free kick in front of Barry Ferguson's dugout.
Me and Mark were talking just before the game started with Rangers' approach with the back five, that you'll just see Celtic's two full-backs invert into the middle of the pitch and create an overload. That 5 foot. I don't think they have so far, have they? Did Johnson and Sloop are staying wide? They're trying to deal with the inside ball.
I think Celtic look like they've rushed everything and they're really unsettled. And I think it goes back to, and I know what you were saying, Andy, and I do agree sometimes, but Callum McGregor just now, I think, has been sadly missing the mid-leg part.
Well, what it'll be is a Cam Head as well.
Yeah. But also, if you know, Celtic are very deliberate in the way they build up Gordon, and Callum McGregor's key to it.
Exactly.
We've not seen Arnie Engels. Really not seen him, so that tells you that the role's not been filled the same way.
Exactly. It's okay if it's going well for you and the flair players can go and play whatever. When you need a cool head, a bit of experience, someone that knows this game inside out, especially with the start that Rangers have made, and let's be honest, Rangers should be 2 up just now, then a Callum McGregor's so vital.
And fair play to Rangers, Andy, because they do not look tired. All the talk about Thursday in 120 minutes,
they don't. They're snapping into challenges. They're making it difficult for Celtic. They've clearly worked on their press, but Celtic have an opportunity now. But
that's poor, Andy, isn't it? That's poor.
Alistair Johnson's cross is cut out.
Great positioning, and you've got to do better.
Much better from Celtic, working it for the throw-in through McCowan out the other side. And then they get that overlap that we quite often see with Celtic, but delivery poor.
Yeah, you quite rightly said, Gordon, we've not seen too much of Arnie Engels so far, but I think Luke McCowan started the game well for Celtic. That's 2 or 3 times he's got the ball in tight areas, played forward, or the switch of play as Alistair Johnson rolls that one at the pitch.
Yeah, everything about Celtic's just a little bit off compared to what it usually is. Of course, Rangers are doing their part, but even the unforced ones, that's just a ball down the line from Alistair Johnson that he does numerous times in a game, but it's overhit and out for a goal kick.
Resembling the game at Ibrox a wee bit, this opening 20 minutes, where Rangers were right after Celtic and were the better team. Celtic were off it, a lot of individuals off it that day. For 20 minutes here, there's a lot of individuals off it for Celtic.
You think home advantage, Mark, would allow you to have that calmness? If anything, you know, it should be, you can almost understand it a bit more why that might happen to Celtic at Ibrox.
Yeah, but I think it's the way Rangers have set up. You know, good system, players seem to know when to press, when not to press, and it's working, and it's frustrating Celtic.
You can see as well, clearly, Gordon, that they're pressing with Černy and Dessers up against Celtic's 2 centre halves and just leaving Diomande on Engels, try to stop any service in towards them, try to allow Celtic to play round the sides and then get pressure on, but Diomande has not left Engels' side.
Yeah, tactically they're spot on just now. I agree with that, Andy. They've pressed very high up the pitch. The big question is, how can you do it for a full game? And that is a very difficult skill, to be honest with you.
Here's the thing, it's a bit early to be talking about substitutions, but actually you could say that Rangers have got more likely options off the bench
than Celtic
do, and we don't see it too often. But Iggyman starts games, Hadji starts games, Barami probably hasn't been brilliant since he signed, but still plays a key role. Celtic bench has got a lot of young boys on. Only really Yang, Ida, maybe Greg Taylor are the types that you would expect to see.
Yeah, and I think the substitutions are going to be vital this afternoon, Gordon, especially for Rangers, because everybody touches on Thursday night, obviously going to extra time penalties where it took out them. So they'll need to use their substitutions very well.
Barry Ferguson was playing left wing there.
Almost on the pitch.
It's a great ball.
This is a danger for Rangers, for Dalziel Maeda run down that side.
Not when he ties his own legs and knots. It's not. He's out for a throw in. John Souttar comes across, Dalziel Maeda not managing to get the right level of control after getting into a good area.
They've just got that extra body. With that three at the back, it's tough for Maeda up against three of them, and obviously the wing backs are taking care of Akun and Jota. So it's effective for Rangers just now. And you ever seen Celtic struggle so much?
That's not great.
It's going to be a Celtic throw in. Ridvan Yilmaz tried to let it go out, but hit the corner flag and stayed in. And Luke McCowan just managed to force him into it. Nicholas Kuhn is trying to come across and plays a dreadful pass straight into Dujon Sterling, who kicks it clear.
They're slack, Celtic, you've got to say. In possession, they're very, very slack indeed. I don't think Brendan Rodgers will be happy one bit. And okay, you can say, because they're one down. The general way they're playing, the way they're moving the ball, I think is very, very poor. Tavernier getting into a tackle there. I don't think we've had a booking yet, have we?
No, we've not. But that's the first time in the game so far that Jeffrey Sloop or Alistair Johnson's took that inside position, and you can see that James Tavernier from the right wing back has to press out. He presses out late, obviously commits the foul. But I think that's what Celtic need to do more of.
There goes Celtic into the box. It's down the right hand side of it though, Johnson, and he's brilliantly tracked by Nicholas Raskin, who's been everywhere.
Very good that from Raskin. Better from Celtic. Johnson's just struggled in the opening 23 minutes when he gets into those positions. Doesn't quite get it across. But you're right, Andy, about Tavernier coming in. I was wondering how Rangers were going to combat that. Quite clear directive for the wing back to go all the way in, and for your centre half then to pick up the wide guys. So a clear game plan from Rangers so far.
Corner Celtic. Rangers set pieces have been the better of the two sides so far. It's an outswinger from Arnie Engels. It's a great delivery and it's headed over the top. Cameron Carter-Vickers just couldn't get anywhere near enough direction on it. Flies miles over.
Andy's right, it's a brilliant ball in. It's just, I think the Rangers defenders just do enough to put him off, but his delivery is brilliant. I've got to say, you're looking at Barry Ferguson, 25 minutes on the clock. He wouldn't have dreamed of this start.
It could have been two. That's the amazing thing about this. Celtic never really troubled. Butland's save, of course, but never really pieced things together to put that back three under any stress.
No, we've seen it before. We know that this is the way this Rangers team are set up. Andy, is about being efficient. I've got the kind of live stats in front of me. You would never think it. You would never feel, if I was to ask you to guess what's Rangers' possession right now.
I would take a guess off 28%.
See, you're too clever, but the rest of them would have got it miles wrong. 20, just under 25. It doesn't feel that way, Gordon, because Celtic aren't doing much with theirs, and Rangers have obviously had some good moments.
Yeah, and it just shows you it's not all about possession. It's about what you do when you get possession.
Big chance.
Yeah, big chance, because
Rangers look like the team that could score the next goal.
And it all comes from Kasper Schmeichel making a mess again. He just kicked the ball out of play. It went over the head of Jeffrey Schlupp out for a throw-in. Rangers take it quickly and now go and force a corner.
Well, of Celtic's 76% possession, whatever it may be, I think 40% of that's at Kasper Schmeichel's foot, because Rangers are quite happy to let him have the ball at his feet. Dessers and Cherny be up against the two centre halves. Diamandi on Arnie Engels in the middle of the pitch and force the clip balls to the fullback, and that's clearly been Rangers' trigger so far to go and pressing. Well, he just overcooks that one. Kasper Schmeichel. Rangers take the quick throw and it's another corner.
Another set piece, and Rangers have looked dangerous. There's another good one. It's another good header, and it's cleared off the line. Oh my goodness!
Celtic are all over the place. They're all over the place.
First of all,
Alistair Johnson.
Leon Balogun wins the first header. Arnie Engels gets something on it. Alistair Johnson can clear it, but he just turns and hits it behind for a corner. He absolutely panics.
Well, Mark said that a couple of minutes ago. I think Alistair Johnson's been a 7, 8 out of 10 every old firm I've seen him play, but he's started this first 25 minutes so shaky, and again he's got so much time to just even turn, clear it with his left foot. It's another corner.
The Rangers look like causing trouble every time they have a corner. It's going to fall to Yilmaz. I'm not really sure if it was a shot or he's trying to put it back into an area, but it might work out. And there's a chaos factor about the way Rangers are getting the ball into the box that Celtic can't quite handle.
I tell you what,
I know that looked like
McCowan dives in there, dangles a leg. I thought Tierney was going down. He stays on his feet. Wonder if we'll have a look at it again.
You talk about Alistair Johnson, he's not alone. Celtic,
the two full-backs, Schlupp started poorly as well.
All over the place, there's panic all over them.
I would like to see that one again. For listen, fair play to Tierney, he feels as if he can stay on his feet and get the ball, but look, McCowan takes a huge risk dangling a leg in there. Tierney gets by him but just overruns it, and look, Rangers press again from
Alistair Johnson again gives it away. Desser's trying to wriggle in, but Carter Vickers cleans up the mess, and it's now out of play in the halfway line.
Just panic. Every time the ball goes into the Celtic box, they're usually so calm and composed with Carter Vickers and Schmeichel in there. They are all over the place anytime Rangers come forward.
We always knew it was going to be a very tactical game, and I've got to say, Rangers are spot on. They're causing so many problems with Celtic, and the minute Celtic get the ball, they're just panicking. You see the panic. If they get a free kick or a corner kick, Celtic defence are all over the place.
Because also, he's given it away to Diamande. Dessers is in the box, but it's a bit wide. Rangers are robbing Celtic of possession quite regularly.
Don't foul in that area.
Foul's coming.
He was looking for it. He's got it.
And do you know what? I think it's silly for Diamande. There's no reason to put that much pressure on him. I think, listen, Luke McCowan buys the foul, but you're going in that area of the pitch, and there's no need for him to be that aggressive. There's nowhere he can go. He's got his back to goal. But again, you can see Celtic just don't look comfortable at all playing out for the back.
You do see the difference, Mark. Celtic are not going to abandon it. That's why they've got their success. But it went to Jack Butland a minute ago. Diaz Almeida chased him down, so Jack Butland puts his foot through it and just sends it up into the other half. It's the two contrasting styles going head to head, and it's interesting to watch how much this at the moment is suiting Rangers.
Well, it's effective. They are putting the back four under pressure, and it's working, and they're picking up second balls time and time again. So really good from Rangers. Everybody knows their job, understands their job, and carrying it out well. For Celtic, the two fullbacks are usually so strong, and Andy touched on it, coming in the pitch and keeping possession and outnumbered. They have been so poor. And I wonder if that's something, if it continues this way, Brendan Rodgers will look at.
Celtic are in the box, but never really looking convincing. It was well worked down the right hand side, a combination of Kuhn and Johnson.
Their passing is so slow. But here's another one. Have we seen Jota at all in this game?
No, not really.
Exactly. He's standing out the wing, and I'm probably saying he's getting starved because of the way Rangers are playing. But they need a spark, Celtic. They really need something to happen for them.
Arnie Engels is going to shoot from the edge of the box.
That's never going to be it.
Mark, is that we need a calm head? Arnie Engels puts it onto his left foot from miles out and just lashes one.
And you know what? You see Rangers just backing off there. I know he's very good from distance angles, but I think Rangers are quite happy just to let him have a go there. Left foot over the bar. Yeah. Everything seems to be rushed from Celtic. No real control. And that's what will disappoint Brendan Rodgers. He's always talking about control and speed of play and ball speed and all that stuff, but very poor in every respect this afternoon.
Yeah, half an hour gone, Andy. We're a third of the game in, to state the obvious, and Rangers would absolutely have been dreaming of an opening half hour like this one. Yeah, and Celtic just haven't got started yet at all. Out with that 25-yard effort for Rio Hatate. Rangers have defended ever so well, and again, like Mark says, it's not this cool, composed Celtic team that we've been used to so far, with players running behind, sacrificial runs and balls across the box. And again, Rangers look like the more composed out of two when they do have the ball. That being said, it's clear they're taking the direct approach and they're trying to unsettle Celtic. See, even just that simple thing there, Celtic have a throw in, and how many times does you see Celtic keep possession, but Schlupp doesn't know where to throw it because Rangers have pressed him in, everybody's locked in, and he's got nowhere to go. They give away possession easily. Schlupp having a difficult afternoon. Yeah, he's not the only one.
No, I think most of them are having a difficult afternoon. You talk about, we're all talking about, well, Celtic aren't doing this or that. All the credit in the world goes to Rangers. I think they've been on the front foot. They've worked as a team. They've closed Celtic down. They've put them into making mistakes. But you know, the Celtic team, it just takes one bit of brilliance, and they've certainly got that. But there you go again, giving the ball away cheaply.
But this is where both things can be true. No one's you couldn't take anything away from Rangers, but what Rio Hatate does there, that's all on him. He just tries to play a ridiculous pass that is never going to come off.
Yeah, but I've got to say, he looks up. That's the only pass he's got.
Oh, but he didn't even have that pass.
I know, but he plays. Usually, when you've got Celtic, you've got runners in behind. You've got guys coming from Midley Park. You've got so many options. I don't think Celtic have got that. They're getting outnumbered all over the pitch.
Yeah, there does look like there are 13 blue jerseys, Andy, which is that's a compliment to any football team.
Well, the only thing I will say, Gordon, for a Rangers perspective, is that they have to do better at times when they do win the ball back, because although Celtic aren't threatened just now, if you keep winning the ball back and kicking it directly forward that Yilmaz did and giving Celtic the ball back, it's going to come, the pressure's going to build, and Celtic are
That's
going
the
to
quickest throwing I've ever seen in my life.
What's happened there? The referee decided the throwing was too quick.
Yeah.
Or taken from the wrong place.
I must admit, I was getting caught up with talking about Red Van Yilmaz turning the ball over so quickly. But yeah, I just think if you allow Celtic the ball this much and allow the pressure to come, I think Rangers just need to complete that first pass, because when they've done that, they've looked good. But as Yilmaz defends that really well again, it's got to be said, and they're attacking the numbers now. It's 4v4 if Dessers attacks at pace.
They might need to bring Cyril Dessers down, Celtic, and they don't. And here's Václav Černý. It's just too far ahead of him. But Nicholas Kuhn was totally muscled out by Red Van Yilmaz.
But that's exactly what I mean, Gordon. You have to complete that first pass to actually set the counter attack up, and Red Van Yilmaz does really well defensively, but then he plays the pass into Dessers, and then they can break in numbers. They're not going direct forward straight away, and if he just underhits that ever so slightly, Václav Černy's got a 1v1 with the goalie. But it's another call. How many corners have we had in the first 33 minutes?
Yeah, especially Rangers have had a few, and they've made one count. They very nearly made a second one count. What can they do with this one? It's 6 corners to Rangers, 3
9
to
corners
Celtic.
in 33 minutes.
I think Rangers, Celtic are getting overrun in the Midley Park. I think they're all over the place. I think Rangers are absolutely dominating from the Midley Park against
them. I think that 9 corner count tells you how frantic it is. Leon Balogun, Rangers are winning every corner when it comes in. He heads it straight.
What a kick that is.
It's a great kick all the way to Jota, but he's not got. If he can just keep hold of it, Dujon Sterling pulls him back. That's going to be a booking.
That must be the first booking of the game.
Dujon Sterling, because he had to. Andy,
promising attack.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
he does. I actually think initially he defends it well, but Jota gets a little ricochet of the ball. It's going into the inside, and after that, Dujon Sterling feels as if he can go to ground and win the ball. But you've got to say, as soon as you don't make contact with the ball and you bring Jota down in that area of the pitch, then it can only be a booking.
I think he was holding Jota's hand a little bit as well, Mark, to make sure he wasn't getting away from him, so he won't complain.
It's a good booking to take, because what a kick it is from Schmeichel. He's been poor this afternoon, Schmeichel, with the ball at his feet, but great direct kick, good touch from Jota, and they certainly were in. But I wonder what Celtic have got planned here. Rangers look like a solid unit. I wonder if they can just think outside the box a bit rather than just put this in.
It's a difficult area for Celtic. It's too far for Arne Engels to shoot, but it's also quite central, so the ball needs to be absolutely immaculate, and the plan thereafter has to be good as well. It's actually going to be Kuhn, and it is so absolutely woeful from Nicholas Kuhn, who's had a very, very bad opening 35 minutes, Gordon.
Yeah, listen, see if this keeps up. I wouldn't be surprised if Brendan Rodgers switches one or two things about. I know that you looked at his bench, right? I look at Rangers just now. They're strong at the back, they're physical. Would he bring on Ida, take one of his wide men off, and put Maeda on the flanks? And he's got to, unless he gets back in the game. Look, these games can change very, very quickly, we know that. But so far, Rangers are so comfortable here.
But that's the bit there, Mark. Back to what we're saying, Rangers deserve all the credit for the bit that they're doing. That's a free kick. So Rangers are not influencing Nicholas Kuhn there, and he decides to hit a ball that you'd be disappointed at seeing in a park on a Saturday morning. Exactly. So it's both, really. Rangers have been excellent and Celtic have been poor, and that's why we're seeing a scoreline like this.
Well, so many big players for Celtic who produce the goods week in, week out have just been off it again today. But that is credit to Rangers in a way as well. How they're pressing, how they're forcing them into areas. I wonder if he will look at the fullback. I wonder if he'll look at Taylor coming on at half time for Sloop. I know people think no way, it's just a fullback, but Taylor gives so much to that midfield area. And Celtic's just a bit of control.
Yilmaz has nicked off Alistair Johnson. Celtic's two fullbacks are asleep, Gordon, it feels like.
Yeah, Johnson
When
does
does Alistair Johnson ever play this passively?
Terrible. He's absolutely terrible. He doesn't know Yilmaz is coming. His body position, Andy will tell you. You've got to have a body position knowing where the player is. He nearly get caught again. Celtic, do you know what? Right now Celtic would be happy to get 1-0 down.
Even communication, Andy, did it look like, was it, Carter Vickers and Johnson didn't really know which one of them was going to go and claim it?
Well, one thing's for sure as well, Kasper Schmeichel absolutely underhits the pass, but I think he was not. It's a massive chance.
Big chance, Rangers, and it's 2.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Celtic 0, Rangers 2. It's Mohamed Diomande. It's a ball into the box. It's flicked on, and there's Diomande arriving, brings it down, fires it into the bottom corner. The 2,500 away fans go wild because this is a very impressive afternoon for Barry Ferguson's side in the making, Gordon.
And it's not against the run of play. They thoroughly deserve that. The ball gets played out to the right hand side. Tavernier plays a great ball. Raskin again. What a run. That's your two midfield players. No picking up whatsoever. Great flick from Raskin. Diomande touch. He's got all the time and the freedom of Celtic Park to stick it in the back of the net and say 2-0.
Well, I think Arnie Engels is 8 minutes away from not seeing the second half. He has absolutely no awareness whatsoever of Nico Raskin there. And again, Alistair Johnson for me, as soon as he sees that Carter Vickers, in all fairness, covering for Arnie Engels, you have to narrow up with him as well. There's no way Mohamed Diomande can take a touch inside 12 yards and pick his spot. But from a Rangers perspective, Gordon, it's been an unbelievable first 37 minutes.
It's a great run from Raskin. It's one thing that was missing from Rangers for a lot of the season, midfield runners getting into those areas. So it's a great run. Andy's right though, for Engels I think he sees him late, but he still doesn't match him. Just so poor from a Celtic point of view. They are weak at the back, all over the place, and Rangers deserve to be 2 up.
Rangers very, very impressive. We are 39 minutes in here at Celtic 0, Rangers 2. And Gordon, this was the week that of course Arnie Engels came out of the Belgium squad. Nico Raskin went in to the Belgium squad. I'm not saying it's all based on this afternoon, for goodness sake, but there's only one of them who's on top in this game.
Raskin's been excellent. He really has. I think the big turning point for Raskin was when he was handed the armband. I think that just gave him so much confidence. I know that he's not got it Tavernier's back, but through that spell you've seen the confidence growing and growing. He come back from an injury. He, over the last few... Oh, that's never offside.
Oh dear, that's a poor offside call from the close near stand assistant. Offside. Really poor. Dyson made us miles onside in the middle of the box.
Look, I agree with Andy, but the problem for Celtic is you look at that bench. Brendan Rodgers has got to be standing there. Look, he was so hurt after the 3-0 at Ibrox New Year. He's getting a doing. Celtic are getting a doing. Let's not be kidded here. They are all over the place.
But it's not just individually, it's tactically as well. I think that's what will hurt Brendan Rodgers, because he's so used to
same
dominating.
As January. It's very, very similar.
Yeah. And we all get that Celtic have got one way of playing it. It's a brilliant style, but they've come up against a 3-5-2 here that's very difficult to break down the wide areas. So you've got to think other ways. And I'm sure he's standing on that touchline with 5 minutes to go thinking, how am I going to change this up? Because I can't continue in the same vein.
It's almost hard to see, Gordon. I know you never say never in football, but it's kind of hard to imagine that a momentum shift big enough.
Exactly. I don't know where he goes to, because you look at their danger line, the front three, non-existent. Midfield are getting overrun. Backmen are all over the place, and the goalkeeper looks nervous. You've got a massive job in your hands if you're Brendan Rodgers just now at half time.
Diomande's struggling. You're also giving away a foul. And is he the one that got booked for the...
No, it was Sterling. I must say I didn't think it was a foul in the first place, but it'll be interesting to see it again. He does a good job initially to try and cover the run on the Engels. Seems as if it just spins away from him, but the referee's brought it back for a foul.
I wonder if he just leans a bit into the back of Arnie Engels. Not a great deal in it, clearly.
It's soft for me.
I think once you're on the wrong side, you don't get away with much. Is he okay physically, Diomande? Did he take a bit of a knock?
I think that was experience from him there, just sitting down, just protecting the ball. 5 minutes to go. Who's getting booked here?
I know who my guess is.
Barry Ferguson.
Well, Steve Maclean shows the yellow card. He said he got carried away after the game the other night when he climbed. Was it Czerny's shoulders he climbed on? He admitted that he got carried away. I wonder how he'll act if Rangers go and batter Celtic at Celtic Park here.
I don't think he was too happy with the foul, but listen, you're 2-0 up, it's 40 minutes, there's no need to get too involved. But he's
also wasn't a terrible decision, was it? A kind of marginal side that maybe could have gone your way. Jota's trying to get in behind, and he has. Sterling can't quite keep up with him, and he hits the side netting. It's the best chance Celtic have had, which is saying something. And was it a corner? Did someone come across?
I think it is a corner, yeah.
Much better. Jota just dropping the shoulder and threatening in behind. Not seen that too many times today from Celtic. Is that a save from Butland?
I think John Souttar just gets a foot on it.
Yeah, it's about the most we've seen from Celtic in an attacking sense. They've set the bar pretty low,
and this is a really, really important period for Rangers to get in at 2-0 at the very worst.
It's a great touch from Nicholas Kuhn, because Arnie Engels' delivery wasn't good. It was so deep. I mean, Kuhn keeps it alive, but it's all the way back with Kasper Schmeichel now. Jeffrey Schlupp is another one who looks a little bit uneasy in this environment.
Well, that's just, he looked petrified to go forward there. He had a pass on to Jota out wide, and he decides to go 40 yards back.
Well, if it's your corner and it ends up at Kasper Schmeichel within about 8 seconds, then
no.
That's it.
Oh, what a clearance that is.
Goodness.
From Dujon Sterling. That is outstanding.
Wow, that's
the
incredible.
First groan that you heard was because the ball was heading into the back of the net. It was a cross in from Jota. I think it was Daisen Maeda who flicked it on, and that ball was absolutely destined for the net. A great clearance from Dujon Sterling.
Well, James Tavernier is he's too detached to Jota. He doesn't make enough effort to stop the cross. Daisen Maeda does very well with his movement to peel off John Souttar. That's heading for the back of the net, and what a defensive clearance that is for Dujon Sterling. Another corner.
Oh, good save, Jack Butland. And now a diving header. I think Rangers will get a foul, and indeed they do. So Celtic have had a couple of chances now. That was a corner. Carter Vickers, was it, or Nawrocki with the header?
I think he's got to score. I really do. I think he's in the middle of the 6-yard box here. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. He gets him down. Yeah, I thought he had a wee bit more time.
But remember, listen, Thursday night Fenerbahce's goal just before half time, it completely changes the complex of the tie. And again, I don't think this is too dissimilar. I think if Celtic score now before half time, this is a really important period for Rangers.
Yeah, a couple of chances now for Celtic, but Rangers very much in command. That first one, see when Dujon Sterling sticks his leg out, I still expect it to go in.
The net,
you expect him to put it into his own net. He does so well to just flick it off to the right and clear the danger.
It's going to be an interesting half-time team talk, isn't it, for Brendan Rodgers if it stays like this, and big decisions have got to be made. He's either got to go in there and have a real go at his players and hope for a reaction, or he's seen enough and he's going to change one or two personnel.
You do wonder though if his side have given him too much to do anyway.
Next goal, if Celtic and plus
well, I was going to say it's a bad back pass. It might not be. It just might be that Daisen Maeda
that quick
makes it look that, and Jack Butland just scrambles it away.
It's a bit of both, I think, but it's definitely under hit. The back pass, Daisen Maeda as always is alive to it. Rangers will be hoping there's not too many minutes added on here, because Celtic have just grown into the game the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's about the most deliberate or controlled period Celtic have had, but again, that bar has been set low, so I'm not overstating what they've done in the last couple of minutes. Yilmaz does well initially on Nicholas Kuhn, as he has all afternoon.
I think when you look at Yilmaz and Tavernier, they'll be delighted. I mean, they've never really been put under too much pressure. They've dealt with the two wide guys very, very well. Celtic usually so strong in those areas.
I've never seen Celtic in back the way as much in all my life. Really, and that's down to the pressure with Rangers all over the pitch. You said it, Gordon. It does look like there are 13 blue jerseys on the pitch.
Jeffrey Schlupp keeps it alive. It's nice footwork from Jota. Goes for it on. He's gone for an ambitious one, and I'll tell you what, it was not far away in the end. I thought there was no chance that was going anywhere near the goal. It does go wide, but maybe not as far away as everybody thought initially.
We were going to criticise him there, weren't we? We were going to have a go at him there. Can't believe he's shooting from there.
I mean, I was just about to say I can't believe he shot, but it ends up not too far away. I think Jack Butland makes it look closer than it probably is, the more outstretched he is. But listen, what a great technique, great effort.
But if you're Rangers and you're limiting Celtic to efforts like that from Engels earlier, Hatate, okay, Butland has to save it, Jota, you'd much rather that than the usual ball inside, cut back, might eat a goal.
Mark, I'll put this one to you, because obviously you're the one that's now flying highs management. Would you change half time?
Let's talk about that at half time. We're nearly there. I think Rangers will definitely want the whistle now, Andy. Like we said, it's maybe one of the better periods we've seen from Celtic.
Well, they've probably only got one more attack to defend. Celtic have got a bit of an overload on the outside. It's poor again though for Alistair Johnson.
Alistair Johnson's probably having his worst game in a Celtic jersey. No doubt about it. He's all over the place.
Yeah, he's really, really toiling as the Canadian, and we don't see it too often, so I think that'll probably be the last action of the first half. There were 2 minutes added on and we're nearly completed those. Of course it is a minimum of 2, but I don't think we've had any serious stoppages within the additional time so far.
Well, we're 45 minutes away from another week of debating, is Barry Ferguson going to get the job on a permanent basis? Exactly. Because we said, what does it take for him to be in the running? And he's got his game plan absolutely spot on.
Half time, let's go to Celtic Park. Marvin Bartley's with Andrew Maclean.
Celtic 0, Rangers 2, the half-time score. Nicholas Raskin and Mohamed Diamande with the goals for the away side. Celtic have been miles off their usual standard. Rangers have been very effective and they're in control at Celtic Park. It all kicked off just 3 minutes in because Rangers had some chances from set pieces. James Tavernier with a couple of long throws. They caused some issues. One of them fell to Nicholas Raskin at the edge of the box. His strike was pushed away for a corner by Kasper Schmeichel, but from that resulting corner, James Tavernier whipped the ball towards the near post, and there was Nicholas Raskin again to flick a header across goal into the far post to stun Celtic Park, with 2,500 travelling fans erupting in the opposite corner as Raskin ran the length of the pitch to go and celebrate with them. Then at the other end, Jack Butland forced into a great save as Rio Hatate's curling effort was headed for the top corner. Then Kasper Schmeichel with a poor pass out went straight to Václav Černý. What a chance this was for Rangers. He should have shot on his weaker right foot because Kasper Schmeichel was miles out of his goal, but Černý decided against it. He drove towards goal. He then rounded Kasper Schmeichel, tried to cut it back for Cyril Dessers, but that was blocked, and it was a big let-off for Celtic. Rangers have had too much of the ball in this game so far, but when they have had it, they've been really effective, and from set pieces as well, they've caused issues. James Tavernier 27 minutes in with a corner. Leon Balogun with a header, this time into a really dangerous area. The Celtic defence was all at sea. Eventually they managed to put it out for another corner, but Celtic continued to look slack as they had all game, giving the ball away, making the wrong decisions. Rangers able to take advantage. James Tavernier with a ball over the top. Nicholas Raskin with a nice flicked header into the middle of the box, and there was Mohamed Diamande, who had no one tracking him. He was able to have time to set himself and put the ball into the bottom corner for 2-0. Looked as if Rangers might be able to sail into half time with that 2-goal lead, but Celtic almost getting 1 or 2 right before the break. Dujon Sterling had to make an incredible clearance from almost underneath the bar from a Dyson Maeda header. Jack Butland had to make a save from the resulting corner to keep the 2-goal lead, and then Jota right before the whistle saw a spectacular effort from distance dropped just by Jack Butland's post. The half-time score at Celtic Park, Celtic 0, Rangers 2, and what a game it's been, Marvin Bartley. I'm not sure many people thought this would be the pattern it's followed. Celtic have been way off their usual standard and Rangers have looked very good.
Yeah, I certainly didn't think this would be the pattern. You know, if you'd have came here and not known what happened in midweek, you'd have thought that Celtic had played Thursday night and not Rangers. The way they started the game, they were lacklustre in possession, they were lacklustre out of possession, constantly playing the ball backwards. The fans were getting on their back early doors, and to be fair, give maximum credit to Rangers because they had a game plan and they executed it extremely well in that first half. They were more aggressive, they were willing to run harder, they were willing to win the 50-50s. Any second ball in the centre of the park they were also turning over. For any fan out there or pundit who thinks that Callum McGregor is not integral to the Celtic side, watch that 45 minutes back and you'll soon change your views on it. Not only what he does on the ball, what he does off the ball, his communication, he leads by example. All of those things have been massively missed today, and Celtic have been a million miles off their usual standards.
Barry Ferguson will be absolutely delighted with what he's seen from his team in that opening 45 minutes. Brendan Rodgers will be the opposite. Big team talks to come from both managers because the half-time score at Celtic Park is Celtic 0, Rangers 2.
Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. They'll collect, repair and deliver your car. Outstanding service. The Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Jaguar. Looking to sell your Jaguar? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
The longest successful points kick in international rugby history was 70 yards, 8.5 inches. That's nothing. The new Volkswagen ID7 Tourer has a range of up to 424 miles at 746,240 yards. It's got the distance. Volkswagen ID7 Tourer. miles better. ID7 Tourer official test range 358 to 424 miles when fully charged depending on trim. May not reflect real-life driving.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
An incredible opening 45 minutes at Celtic Park. It sees the scoreline at the breaks at Celtic 0, Rangers 2, and Rangers are good for it. Marvin Bartley, what's the mood been like? How's this been taken? Because we do have away fans back, but not that many of them in comparison to the home fans. The home fans must be rocked by this, surely.
Yeah, listen, the home fans in and around us have been, highly frustrated. When the first goal went in, and then, Celtic constantly playing the ball backwards and getting overturned. I've not seen Celtic fans this restless ever before, and obviously you can imagine the Rangers fans when the second one went in, that 2,500, felt like 25,000, because you could hear a pin drop in terms of where the Celtic fans were, and the Rangers fans were up on their feet. They were dancing, they were singing, and everything else in between. So yeah, listen, there's no doubt about it. Obviously they're the more delighted in terms of that first half, but Celtic fans will know what their team are capable of, and that didn't look like their team in the first half, but it also wouldn't put it past them to come back in the second.
When it's going as well as this for Rangers and as poorly as this for Celtic, is it a combination of factors, Marvin? Because tactically all the credit needs to go to Rangers. They're spot on, they're all over Celtic, but then there are even moments when just individually guys like Alistair Johnson, Nicholas Kuhn, Jeffrey Schlupp, look miles off it, don't they?
Yeah, you're totally right, and taking tactics out of it, I don't think the Celtic players have ran hard enough. I don't think they've wanted to move the ball quick enough. As I said, they've been extremely lethargic in possession. The underlapping runs that Johnson and Schlupp should be doing, they haven't been doing enough of. They don't want to do the hard jars. They look frightened. There's almost deer in the headlights for Schlupp at times in that. And I know the guys in the studio speaking about he's not played in this kind of atmosphere before, and you could see it. Nawrocki was the one that I think all Celtic fans are worried about coming into this game, and he's probably looked the most assured, taking Carter Vickers and Schmeichel into that as well. So many uncharacteristic mistakes from him, playing the ball short, playing it to players when they're facing him and they're being pressed from behind. So yeah, as I said, there's so many things have gone wrong for Celtic outside of the tactics.
How impressive has this been from Rangers? I mean, in a number of ways, against the backdrop of a season that's been very poor domestically. A new inexperienced manager, the physical exertions of Thursday night. This is impressive considering all those factors, is it not?
Yeah, when you put all of those together, Gordon, and you watch that first 45 minutes, as I said, you have to give them maximum credit to Barry Ferguson and his staff first and foremost to come here and play a back three when many of us thought they would go in a different direction. The slight tweak by putting Tavernier out to right wing back and Sterling into right sided centre half that Gordon called out before the game, and just how hard he's got his players working. I know it's only 45 minutes and anything could change in the second half, but just looking at that first half, so many of these players have been written off this season by Rangers fans and by people further afield. They look like a totally different team, today than the one we saw under Clement, than the one that we saw lose to Motherwell, the one that we saw go behind to Kilmarnock. Thursday night they've gone through on penalties. They haven't looked tired so far in this game. Tactics in terms of the second half are going to be important, and so are the subs. But yeah, listen, Barry Ferguson will be absolutely delighted. But as I said, at the start of this, they know it's only 45 minutes, and this Celtic team can only get better. There's no way they can get any worse.
In terms of potential changes, though, Marvin, for the first time in quite a while, it's not a particularly strong-looking Celtic bench. There's not loads there. Obviously, Adam Ida, Yang. Do you think Brendan Rodgers will roll the dice now?
I wouldn't be surprised. As you said, though, it is threadbare. Do you give Kuhn, do you give Jota a little bit longer? I think both of them have been, missing in action, so to speak, in terms of Celtic going forward. Maeda looks so frustrated up there. He's trying to work hard. One of the things that kind of sums it up for me in that first half is Nicholas Kuhn gave the ball away. He then jogs back as Yilmaz is bursting forward. Alistair Johnson has to run back past him because he's made the overlapping run. And Brendan Rodgers just looked at him and shook his head. So if he was to come up, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think, these players have earned the right to get a rocket at half-time and see if they can give him a reaction. But I don't think it'll be too long into the second half before changes are made.
Mark, how much will the pride be hurting in there so far? Of course, there's 45 minutes to go, because I know what people said before the game. It's 16 points. If it goes to 13, it's not going to change anything. But if you are the dominant side in the country and you believe you're so much better than your rivals, you're potentially about to lose convincingly for the second game in a row. They scored 3 against you the game before that, albeit you won in penalties. Surely Brendan Rodgers' ego is bruised a bit in there.
Oh, it's got to be, no doubt about that. I mean, the game at Ibrox, everyone's thinking, is it a one-off? Did Philippe Clement just get a tune out his players that day? But it's repeating itself here again. So Brendan Rodgers will be thinking long and hard how he gets over that first 45 minutes and gets a better tune out his team. I think he needs to make changes. I think he would have seen enough from the individuals to suggest they aren't going to take him forward in this second 45. And I wonder if we'll see Ida and Taylor come into the fray.
Any clues, Andrew Maclean?
Yeah, well, I think Adam Ida looks like the player, if Celtic are going to make a change, will be the man, because he went out there, he was doing an individual warm-up with a coach while the rest of the players were passing the ball amongst themselves. He's now disappeared away off down the tunnel, so it'll be interesting to see, Marvin, exactly what that change will look like, because Celtic do have limited options, as we've mentioned, on that bench. So who do you think would be the most likely candidate to come off?
Do you know what? I think Brendan, if he is going to make that change, could do something that we've not seen him do many times at Celtic, and has changed from one holder and 2 8s to go to 2 8s and 1 10. And potentially take off one of those midfielders, whether it's McCowan and Engels moves up alongside Hatate, and maybe Jota or Kun goes inside to play as a number 10, Maeda wide and Ida up front. They have to change something. You know, Rangers aren't playing with a number 10, so to speak, so they don't really need that one holder in there. They need to go and take the game to Rangers rather in the second half. And, you know, if it is going to be Ida coming on, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a change of shape with it as well.
You think if Celtic had the options that we've seen them have previously, they've obviously got a lot of injuries with Austin Trusty, Callum McGregor, plenty of players out at the moment, Paulo Bernardo. If the options were there, do you think Brendan Rodgers really would be ringing the changes at the moment?
Yeah, I don't think some of the players would have lasted the first half, if I'm honest. I think some of them would have seen up to maybe 35 minutes and that would have been enough for him. I don't think he'd have waited till half time. You know, you could see on the sidelines he was so disappointed with what he saw. But as you said, those players aren't available today. So he's going to have to be creative with his thinking, him and his coaching staff. And that's one of the ways I think they could potentially get back into the game, is a slight change of shape.
Yeah, the Celtic team just making their way out the tunnel at the moment. Captain Cameron Carter-Vickers, captain for the day. Cameron Carter-Vickers, of course, with Callum McGregor out, leads the team out. Alistair Johnston is there. You guys mentioned it's certainly not one of his better performances in a Celtic shirt, but Adam Ida is stripped and ready to go. He will come on for the second half, and it looks as if Nicholas Kuhn is the man that hasn't made the trip out for the second half, Marvin.
Well, listen, I just spoke about it there, you know, and I don't think it was all about going forward, because wingers, you get tackled at times. I think his tracking back was woeful today. And as I said, you know, Brendan Rodgers looked at him and shook his head at that time, and he kind of gave up. So am I surprised he came off? Not at all.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers will have had some stern words with his Celtic side, I'm sure, in the changing room at half time. They were first out, they'll be raring to go to try and rectify that first half performance. Rangers have now made their way out the tunnel. Jack Butland making his way to the opposite goal, where he made a stunning save from Rio Hatate in the first half, and of course the goal that saw Nicholas Raskin and Mohamed Diamande score into in the first half to give Rangers a commanding 2-0 lead at Celtic Park. They've been the better side. The question is, can they continue this in front of the Celtic supporters and in front of the 2,500 travelling Rangers supporters in the corner? Rangers looking for back-to-back victories in this derby for the first time since 2021. They'll need a big second half performance, but Celtic, I'm sure, will be determined to show that they're not the team that went out and had that first half display. It's Luke McCowan standing over the ball, ready to get us underway for this second half.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes. With M&D Green Pharmacy. Get advice on keeping infections and viruses away when school returns.
What do you make of the half-time change, Mark? Adam Ida on, Nicholas Kuhn off.
Not surprised. I think Kuhn's been anonymous. I think Marv touched on even going back the way. Not good enough, and Brendan Rodgers not hanging about. So Celtic might go a wee bit more direct. Ida gives them that option if need be. But I think overall, they need to just move the ball quicker, be braver and going forward. Marv touched on that again. So many backwards passes from Celtic players that we're not used to seeing. So, yeah, interesting start to this second half coming up.
Not surprised. I'm with Mark there. He could have made a right few changes. In fact, I was a bit surprised he waited to half time, because Brendan Rodgers knew that Celtic were getting nothing here at all. So you just wonder if the change got to make a difference. Maeda off the flank gives him a bit of pace. Ida gives him a little bit more strength up top, try and get up the pitch a little bit more, but they need a big second half performance.
What does it change for Rangers, Andy, that Celtic substitution?
Well, I think if they continue to have this aggressive approach like they have just now, Celtic have got that bit more physicality up top with Adam Ida. But I think the big one is that direct battle again between Dalziel Maeda and James Tavernier. I'm sure they'll be trying to exploit that, looking balls over the top, trying to feed him early. But I think Dujon Sterling's done an incredible job so far, doubling up on that side and trying to stop crosses and balls into the box. But again, listen, we're only a minute and a half in, but if the first minute and a half is to go with it this second half of Celtic, they've already gave away 3 unopposed, unforced errors.
Yeah, Alistair Johnson puts one out of play, Mark. He could have been doing with a nice settled start to the second half to prove that first 45 was a one-off, but it's not exactly what he would have had in mind.
It's not his day, is it, at all? He just can't do anything right at the minute. But he isn't alone out there. We've seen Andy was just in there in the opening minute, Nawrocki giving it away, Schlupp almost giving it away, Johnson giving it away. So poor.
What? I thought that was a free kick.
I suppose you need a break as well. Rangers fizzed a poor pass across, but it cannoned off a Celtic player and then broke. James Tavernier was upended by Dalziel Maeda. And here's the Arnie Engels, who's had a really tough afternoon. It's his countryman Nicholas Raskin, who's certainly got the bragging rights in that midfield department. Jeffrey Schlupp closed down.
Two fullbacks have been dreadful.
Yeah, what's uncomfortable
yeah.
from Celtic, try to build, and even Engels there playing a pointless pass square. If that's Callum McGregor, I know we keep going back to this, but there is no way it's that slow in the build up. He knows when to go forward and how to do it quickly.
First involvement for Adam Ida, not much on really, just turns and tries to run. It's a poor kick from Jack Butland. Rio Hitati controls it, and there's space for Dalziel Maeda. Dujon Sterling does well though, just holds him up. And it's a similar theme, Gordon, where there are blue jerseys everywhere.
Exactly, they're not letting Celtic breathe. Here's an opportunity now. They've worked it way to Jota.
Yeah, Jota just stands it up.
Oh.
We've got a goal at Celtic Park.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Dalziel Maeda is inevitable for Celtic this season. Jota to the byline, stands up. It's a high floated delivery, and Dalziel Maeda, who you don't need me to tell you is not the biggest player in that box, rises highest to find the back of the net. James Tavernier underneath it, Dujon Sterling underneath it. Dalziel Maeda, incredible performer for Celtic this season.
Well, what a ball. Celtic for once work it to Johnson, who works it wide, and Jota, lovely stand up to the back of the 6-yard box. Maeda, I know how difficult that is to defend against, but Maeda's up early. What a spring. Celtic back in it.
Gordon, he can do pretty much everything this season. That's the type of goal Adam Ida's brought on to score. Yeah. Dalziel Maeda towers above both Tavernier and Dujon Sterling to head the ball home.
Right, I was never going to say that he was favourite, right? I was never going to say that.
But you fancied him a bit?
Oh, the spring. He's just having one of these seasons, isn't he? If Celtic were ever going to get back in this game, it was him who's got to bring them back in. All of a sudden, that changes the full dynamic of the game, and especially the timing of it. Brendan Rodgers would have been saying to his players, we need a reaction. We need to get this crowd going. We need to put pressure on Rangers. Maeda's the man that's done that for him.
That's a great start, Mark. That's exactly what you're looking for. It's just that reaction. It's that sign that things are heading in a different direction.
Well, small details. You make the change. You put Jota to the right, obviously right-footed, and he's the one that dinks that to the back post. A beautiful delivery. If you've got Kuhn there, you think Kuhn would probably shape back to his left. So just those fine little details. Brendan Rodgers looked for something different at the start of the second half, and he certainly got it.
I think we lost that there, what you said, right, Mark? The stand up from Jota is sublime, isn't it? He gets there and just stands it up for him. Celtic, they're getting a little bit of lift from this.
And then on the other hand, Andy, a disaster for Rangers. There's no doubt. You can hear it. Keep it tight, lads, for 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, it all comes for that Jack Butland kick, Gordon. It's just a really poor clearance. They pick it up in the middle of the pitch, and within a couple of passes, he just runs out. And within a couple of I'm not quite sure who it is, but 2 Rangers players press Engels needlessly in the middle of the pitch, and it's a little round the corner, and Celtic have all the space in the world, play it out wide. Listen, there'll be so many people out there that's going to criticise James Tavernier for that. I think they are so difficult to defend as a fullback. That stand-up cross, you're backtracking, you know the momentum's all with the forward at the back post to tower above you, but take nothing away for Dalziel Maeda. It's a fantastic leap, great header.
His contribution this season, Mark, is just unbelievable. We've always known he was so key to the way the team plays, and he still is. But to then be scoring 28 goals by mid-March,
frightening return. Especially for a wide man. He's played most of the season in that wide area, but when Kyogo goes, everyone's thinking, well, they need another striker to partner Ida, and he just takes it on naturally and keeps scoring. And you wouldn't put it past him scoring again here the season he's having.
And now, Andy, it looks like Barry Ferguson's motioning for Rangers to switch now to a 4-2-3-1. Does that surprise you, or is that expected?
Yeah, well, I didn't catch the first set of fingers, but certainly seen the 2-3-1 at the end. So it does look as if he's planning on. It's unbelievable for Diamandi. Oh,
just gave it away. Done all the hard work.
Yeah, but I feel like Cherny says that's when he wants the ball to go, but then it maybe comes just a split second after, and he changes his mind. But listen, I know it's an old football cliche, Gordon, but goals change games. Celtic didn't look as if they'd started the first couple of minutes of up particularly well, but now that the stadium will be buoyed by that goal.
Sterling right back, Tavernier right wing, Cherny is a 10, and Diamandi on the left, it looks like.
Yeah, try to give a bit of protection down that left hand side against Maeda, or Rangers right, because they know that if they give him the ball and the form he's in, then they'll punish them.
Arnie Engels is having a very, very bad afternoon, even if Celtic have improved, and they have. But
it's good recovery for Alistair Johnson, though.
Yeah, he needs something to get him going. The minute they get the ball, they're looking for that
that's
direction.
More like Arnie Engels. It's a proper
beautiful ball, beautiful.
But that's the area of the pitch now that Rangers need to be really careful with. That switch of play, that ball over the top for Dalziel Maeda. We all know what his pace is like, we all know what his movement's like.
Wow, that's incredible from Jota. He showed nice control and footwork initially. He's moving out towards the corner flag. It's like he thinks somebody's overlapping and he tries to play them in, but that
I think he's tried the skill, the wee roll over and then come back.
And you'd be fuming. You're absolutely fuming if you're his Celtic teammate there.
I thought he was just passing to an invisible man, and it rolls out of play for a goal kick. But there's been a momentum shift, I suppose. Look, we probably got bogged down in the narrative at half time was clearly about how good Rangers were and how far ahead they were. But we did say, Andy, the last 5-10 of the first half, Celtic did look a bit more likely, and they've now had a bit of life breathed into them.
And the next goal was always going to be the most important. I don't think anyone doesn't think that Celtic were going to have a sustained period of pressure in this game, and it's how well could Rangers deal with it. They've caused them problems going the other way. Could they go and get that third goal to effectively kill the tie? But I think again the timing of the goal so early in the second half, it's going to be a long 40 minutes now for Rangers to hold on to this lead.
And this is where 120 minutes maybe does start coming into the legs when it didn't previously. Maeda's in behind, Sterling just doing enough, and it's out for a corner kick to Celtic.
Brilliant from Celtic there, from the goalkeeper all the way through, pass into Hatate, nice little reverse, and they're trying to get Maeda in right away. Sterling actually defended it well, and they end up.
It's a great ball for Luke McCowan as well. He sets Maeda on his way. He just doesn't quite judge the flight of the ball to get that first touch, but again it's another corner.
Andy, tactically, do you think Rangers went too quick to that 4, or did you think it was the right move?
Again, I've not actually seen that within the shape of play so far that they have actually changed it, but I can only assume if they have changed to the 4, it is to double up and Dalziel Maeda.
Oh, what an effort from Reo Hatate. It's miles up in the air and it drops down. He just watches it onto the volley, but he hits the side netting. You know, he's got good technique. He just cuts across it ever so slightly.
A little bit unlucky. Good technique. Another warning from Rangers. Celtic obviously listening to the words of Brendan Rodgers, and there we go.
And we sort of knew this might happen. Of all people who might feel the legs, Leon Balogun is, yes, he's stretching, and Robin Proper is coming on. Andy,
you happy with that, Andy? Because I don't know, but
is there a reason you've got your head in your
was
hands,
broken.
Listen, but no, Balogun's he's done ever so well for the most part, and for Rangers this year. I think he started this game ever so solid. Again, I think the frustrating thing about Ballon coming off is there's always a question mark whether Dujon Sterling can complete the 90 minutes, especially being on a booking. So you felt as if Dujon Sterling coming off, Robin Proper coming off would be a sub at some point in the game. But I think Dujon Sterling now has to complete the 90 minutes.
He's done
as Balogun comes off.
55 gone. Leon Balogun, always a risk that he wouldn't last the match, but that's quite early for Robin Proper to be introduced. I suppose, Andy, Robin Proper's main issues tend to be, you know, away to well, I was going to be
that's a problem.
I was going to be a bit more kind. You know, away to Kilmarnock, away to St Mirren, when it's a slightly different challenge. I don't know. I can sense you don't have any faith in him today.
Can Rangers be as aggressive if they have been now in terms of the line?
True,
they're losing pace with Balogun. They've got Robin Proper in there. It'll be interesting to see if they they change straight back to a 5 if they have changed to a 4. So, but again, I must say, I think the game's kind of settled down again over the last couple of minutes since the goal. There's not really been too much happening. It's been a bit frantic again. Celtic obviously try to get their foot in the ball and calm things down.
Yeah, it's just about Rangers looking to be as efficient as they were, Gordon, because you expect Celtic to dominate possession anyway, but it's quite a domination of possession. So Rangers then need to make sure that wherever they get it, it's really well looked after, or it's really productive going forward.
Yeah, because I think Barry Ferguson would have said at half time, look, Celtic ain't going to play as bad as this, so they're going to come into the game. We've got to have a bit of composure when we get the ball. We're going to come under a little bit of pressure. It's how they handle it. But Celtic got that goal right after half time, and all of a sudden they look a different outfit now.
Yeah, we're not at the 60-minute mark yet, so we've got a bit of time. What was it we had just your game, Andy? 14 minutes added on yesterday?
Yeah, you just arrived here 10 minutes ago.
14 minutes, yeah. But listen, Caelan Boyd-Munns took a bad one, so hoping that everything's okay with him. It didn't look nice at the time.
Rangers now already changed it, and Sterling is ahead of Tavernier.
So maybe
rather than the other way around.
Yeah, so it might have just been the switch in terms of personnel. But it certainly looks as if Czerny's still more advanced. I think they are still the back five, and Czerny's kind of still playing alongside Dessers. But I think from a Rangers' point of view, they've not really offered so much going forward in the first 10, 12 minutes of the second half.
I mean, they had 29% possession in the first period and went in 2-0 up. I think they look comfortable. And I know Celtic's had a little flurry there, but again, the game has settled. But
they're not managing to look like they can hurt Celtic the same as they did in the first half.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Having said that, if Cameron Carter-Vickers' distribution is as poor as it was there's every chance, but it's out for a throw-in to Celtic.
What it looks like, Gordon, now is that it's 11 blue shirts on the pitch. That's what it looks like.
Back down to 11.
Yeah, we're back down to 11. And all of a sudden, Celtic are starting to find the passes. They're controlling the pace of the game now. Rangers are backing off a little bit, going a little bit deeper. They just need to dig in, Rangers. They've got to dig in here. Remember, they've still 2-1 up. They've still got something to hold on to.
But they're sitting off Celtic now.
Yeah.
They're not as aggressive as they were in the first half. Everyone's going to be debating, is that tired legs for Thursday? I think the goals kind of changed their approach a wee bit. Celtic are now managed to get unopposed passes and with a bit more control of the game.
There's still a kind of fluidity missing on the right side for Celtic, though, Mark, the way there usually is. Alistair Johnson very rarely looks like as unsure as he is here.
Well, you seen him there. He took 3 touches and thought, where am I going here? And he's got himself into all sorts of bother, and he has to come back the way. That rhythm, that flow from Celtic just isn't there.
It just looks like one of those games he's shouting man on all the time. He doesn't want the ball. But look, he's that good a player. He's not had the best 60 minutes of his career at Celtic, let's be honest about that. But you never know, he could be one of these guys down the right hand side, put a ball in, and all of a sudden the game changes again. So don't write him off yet.
It's much better for Celtic.
It's much better midfield play. Ingles and Hatate breaking lines and coming to Schlupp, who finds Maeda now out on that left hand side. He is the man who scored the goal. Ingles just dilly-dallying though, and he goes down, but he's not going to get a foul for that, and if anything it's going to go the other way.
That's poor.
He's so he doesn't have a picture in his head, and it's not often you'd say that about a player of his standard, but he's got no idea.
What's options in there, Mark? What options has he got?
No,
to change things?
Yeah.
Alright, I thought you meant Arnie Ingles on the ball.
No, change him in there, because he's...
Well, as Marvin said at the break, it would be more drastic, but you would perhaps take one of the midfielders off, introduce a Yang and make...
Well, you can see Brendan Rodgers' reactions to Arnie Ingles there. He actually receives the ball in a relative pocket of space, but like Mark says, doesn't have any picture of what's next to him. Gets the first touch caught under his feet, ends up taking a second and a third, and Czerny and Rassen do really well to swarm round him.
Nawrocki and Dessers colliding. I know the Rangers man feels it's a foul. Are you ever going to get that one?
Never.
I think it's good centre half play, to be honest with you. I think, get across his running line, try and check him, not allowed to get that run in front of you.
He's been the least of Celtic's problems, Nawrocki, today. Grabs the headlines that he's played very little football, but I think there's more players that Brendan Rodgers will be looking at thinking they've had a poor afternoon. Not Nawrocki, he's defended okay.
All of a sudden, Czerny, we've not seen him. Dessers hasn't influenced the game. Diamandi, people like that. Celtic just controlling it at their pace. going to be very patient here.
Oh, Cherny's frustrated. He's thrown his hands up in the air. He doesn't feel like Rangers are getting close enough. Would Rangers do something, Andy? Well, I don't know, Yanis Hadji or Barami, Igaman?
I think we're definitely coming into a period where Rangers roll.
Oh, there's a slip from Cameron Carter-Vickers, and I don't know why Kasper Schmeichel has come out. Oh, Celtic are as calamitous as you'll ever see them, because then Jeffrey Schlupp just slips when the ball goes near him. They have got away with it on this occasion.
I tell you what, and the Rocky does extremely well twice, because Cameron Carter-Vickers puts him in a really tough spot, and then so does Alistair Johnson with the back pass. And Rangers are counter-attacking again.
Here we go. First attack we've seen from Rangers in the second half.
That's a foul.
Good challenge from Alistair Johnson. And
that's a foul.
Connor Barron just holds back. Was it Adamida who had dropped deep?
Well, I mean, listen, I get Alistair Johnson ever so comfortable usually in this game. Usually plays extremely well.
Oh, Robin Proper. That's dreadful decision making from Jota.
I totally agree,
because Robin Proper has had to come out and confront him. If you're Jota, that should be a dream.
Yeah.
And you decide to flash a volleyed cross into the box when there's no one really up in support.
Quick thinking, Alistair Johnson just into the channel. You've got him 1v1, just run at him.
I mean, I know Maeda, to be fair, is in there, but
no, you're right. He's got to take that down and say, Proper, I'm taking you on. I'm going to knock the ball by you and cause you a problem.
Well, looks like Hadji,
yeah.
Well, he's putting his bib back on though, so it's
like
not
Danilo the other night.
Or a dugout will be getting hooked.
Not to say he's not coming on, but just a delay for Yanis Hadji. There will be surely some tired legs in the Rangers team following their Thursday night exertions. They've done so well to get themselves in a commanding lead, and there's a mistake at the back for Celtic, but Diomande can't take advantage.
How nervous does Celtic look at the back?
I thought they had got rid of it a bit, Gordon. It looked for a spell that they had ridden it out, but they're kind of reverted.
Yeah, I agree. Their decision making is incredible.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Alistair Johnson ever so reliable in this game, but Cameron Carter-Vickers, it doesn't look as
spot on.
His composed self. He does not deal with that well at all. Dessers puts him under pressure, and Rangers don't make the most. This is what they don't need.
Yeah, Dyson Maeda going to run at Sterling, but he can't find a way. Oh yes, he can. He can find a way through. Look, McCowan edge of the box, and it just drifts wide. That's a big opportunity for Celtic. He didn't quite catch it, and it stays Celtic 1, Rangers 2.
Yeah, Dujon Sterling actually defends it well, and I think it's Nico Raskin who's putting a power of luck working back to double up. And listen, Dyson Maeda gets fortunate. He gets the ricochet of the ball, cuts it back to Luke McCowan. He just doesn't quite catch it. He snatches at it. It's a good opportunity for Celtic. Just rolls harmlessly by the post. We
saw the stats there, Mark, where you mentioned it in the first half. You don't need possession. You don't need it. Rangers were so good in the first half, and they didn't have a lot of the ball. The second half, though, they've now dropped to 16% possession, and you wonder if there's a tipping point where you just need a bit more than that.
Yeah, you certainly do, because you just encourage Celtic to come on to you. No doubt about it, Celtic get a huge slice of luck to get through there, and it's an opportunity. Goes begging. Raskin got a problem here
with his handle.
Well, I think he's been Rangers' best player on the pitch, so you really don't want him coming off at this stage of the game. He's putting a power of work. Again, we just mentioned here, Maeda looked as if he was in a 1v1 situation with Dujon Sterling, and Nico Raskin covers the ground ever so well to help him out, so Rangers will be hoping he can stay on.
We think the Rangers change is about to come, because Yanis Hadji's standing at the sideline pleading with someone, but no, Jack Butland's going to be ordered to take the goal kick, which
He'll get him on now. He'll get him on now. Hi, Andy. I wonder, is it Diomande? Is it Diomande they're taking off?
Can he be?
No,
can he be Diomande?
It is, yeah. Mohamed Diomande is going to come off for Yanis Hadji.
No,
there's a 10 on there, is there not? My eyes deceiving me.
I can't believe that sub, personally.
What surprises you about it? Just because you still think he's got the legs?
I think he's had a huge influence on the game. I think he's been one of the ones that showed a lot of composure on the ball to get Rangers up the pitch. It doesn't look ever so leggy to me. But again, yeah, I must say I'm surprised with that one. But listen, if you're going to bring Yanis Hadji on, it's going to be for him or Cherny, and I think it's two difficult subs.
I think 8 did go up Connor Barron's number first,
and then
it changed to 10. But either way, Yanis Hadji is on and Mohamed Diomande is off. So 65 gone, 25 of the 90 remaining, plus whatever change we get. And Celtic have clearly been the better in the second half, but they still trail. Rangers so much goodwill in the tank from the first half. They lead, but they are struggling a bit now, Andy.
Yeah, they have to find a way to get their foot in the ball. It's Celtic have dominated clearly the ball throughout the full second half, but when Rangers do get it back, they can't just aimlessly put it forward like that and give up possession so easily. That's why I feel like for me, Diamande was that one that was getting touches of the ball to try and sustain a bit of pressure for Rangers. But
there could be a slip here at the back, but well done Robin Proper, who covers across brilliantly, and even better from Nicholas Raskin. Celtic were favourites there. It looked like they were in on goal, but a combination of Proper and Raskin cleared the danger.
Proper's a big one there.
Yeah,
he needs to make it, because Jota's through and go. If he doesn't, throws his body at it and gets Rangers off the hook.
He's had a bit of stick, Robin Proper, but he did ever so well there, Andy.
Yeah, he did extremely well against it. Celtic got a bit of luck with the ricochet. I think it goes through John Souttar's legs maybe, and it looks for all the world that Jota's running through and goal, and Robin Proper does extremely well to get back, wins the first contact, and then again Nico Raskin plugging holes in the middle of the pitch to pick up the second ball, but Rangers just can't keep a hold of the ball. And there's still 25 minutes left of this game. It's going to be a long 25 minutes if you allow Celtic this much
especially the gaps that are starting to appear all over the pitch. Celtic starting to get that little bit of movement, getting a bit of space, getting it down the wide areas. Here's Jota again. They fancy it now, I'll tell you.
Yeah, but again, Nicholas Raskin's work rate, Mark, is
absolutely terrific there. Gets over ball side to help out his wing back, who forces Jota inside, and Jota just crowded out.
The Rangers' best player arguably at the moment, Andy. Cherney would make a good claim.
Listen, he's certainly up there. I think from kind of September, November time, he's been ever so consistent. Daz talked about him getting the captain's armband the last time these two teams met in Ibrox. I think in European games and these bigger games he's been so influential. But he quite rightly said, the work he's put in this game here to plug holes all over the pitch, to double up in certain areas, because Jota had the beating of Yilmaz there. He was inside him, he was driving at Rangers back five, but does ever so well to help his team out.
Slack again from Alistair Johnson though. Celtic could have got out quite simply, but he misplaces a pass, and now Yilmaz will go down the left, tackled by Arne Engels.
I think it's safe to say that Alistair Johnston will not be watching the highlights of this game.
We've all been there, we've all had one of these days, but you just hope it doesn't come in one of these occasions where the game is so big he just can't do much right.
I think even Mark, the one thing that he would normally just always rely on would be his physicality, but it feels like you've not even seen it from Alistair Johnson.
Yeah, way off it and everything. Looks unsure about things, even went to press. Unsure in possession as well. Yeah, so poor.
Celtic's press looks a lot better as well.
100%. Putting Rangers under a lot of pressure now.
It's going to be a foul though. Too much pressure on John Souttar as far as referee Stephen Maclean was concerned.
I think correct decision. Here's Yang coming on.
It's Hughes, man.
So there we go. Is it going to be something drastic for Celtic? You actually will be, won't it? Because they're not going to take Maeda off. Jota off, maybe. Yeah, it's Jota. Yeah. So same sort of shape then.
I think they're going for a bit more pace, direct, trying to get in behind. Yang will give them that. He's been playing with a bit of confidence, Yang, and everybody talks about, and I know Hugh doubts him, but if you're ever got to show up, this is a game you can make yourself a hero. He's
been nowhere near Celtic's biggest problem, Mark, today, but you're looking for a bit more from Jota at the moment.
Yeah. I think he started very well for Celtic when he came back, but Celtic fans are looking for a wee bit more off him. I don't know, I feel I would have kept him on. I would have taken the Engels off there and put McCowan at the six and just Jota in behind the Rangers midfield to cause problems. I know you're giving up something in midfield, but he's a match winner and he's been taken out. So interesting one from Brendan Rodgers. Big decision.
Yeah, I agree. I think that at this stage and the way Celtic have played, I think you've got to keep your big players on the pitch. I know a lot of them have been poor, but one goal changes the look of this game without a shadow of a doubt. Rangers will just hope to have weathered that little bit of a storm. Celtic were starting to dominate it. Brendan decided to make the change, so Barry will be looking at a clock thinking that's not a clock, that's a calendar up there, and he'll be talking to Neil McCann thinking, obviously with Thursday night in mind, a few more changes, get fresh legs on that pitch, because he's going to need them.
You seeing tiredness, Andy, or?
Not as of yet, but I think we're in that period where you started to question at the top of the game. Is the physicality, is the heavy legs for Thursday night going to play a part? I can't say that I'm seeing them with too many tired legs as of yet. But that being said, as much as Celtic's got the ball, I don't think they're making them run enough. No. I don't think they're creating too many chances. So I don't think Celtic are doing actually enough to test their physicality.
I think that's what will disappoint Brendan Rodgers, how slow they're moving the ball. The accuracy of the passing has been off this afternoon from Celtic.
Yeah, I'll tell you who'd disappoint. I think Ida would I'd be looking for a little bit more off of him. Okay, you can argue with he's not been given the great service, but he's on there for a reason, to try and change a game, get them up the pitch. He's not done any of that.
Yilmaz just tries a right-footed volley from outside the box, which is always going to be difficult. Slices it, and it allows Kasper Schmeichel to come and collect.
This is where Celtic have to be quicker going forward. Engels a wee bit hesitant again. Schmeichel collects it, distributes it quickly, saying that they've worked it out nicely here.
McCowan's got it in a nice pocket, but maybe just forcing a pass, and John Souttar blocks it.
He's been Celtic's best midfield player, McGowan. I think he's done okay. Andy, you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Mark as well. Kasper Schmeichel catches the ball and sets Celtic away in a quick attack. Rangers still have bodies in the box, but Engels looked so unsure when he got the ball. It slowed down the attack, and you've got to say Rangers done ever so well to get bodies back in.
Wonder if there are a few people taking back their Callum McGregor thoughts from midweek. Gordon DL.
Well,
Andy Halliday is one of them, actually. Forgot about you.
It's amazing the difference one player makes, but he's so big for Celtic, so huge in these fixtures, especially when it's going wrong. You need somebody to be accountable and take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Also gives you a much better chance of it not going wrong first, though, doesn't it? Don't get me wrong, he's been involved in defeats before and was the last time, so I'm not saying it's all as simple as that. Dyson Maeda gets a sore one. I think Robin Propper will go into the book. Don't detect any complaints there.
No, and there can't be. I think it's Nico Raskin again who actually wins the ball off of Dyson Maeda, but deflects off his knees. And to be honest, I don't think it's a bad foul again, Mark, I must say, because then Propper needs to step into no man's land in the middle of the pitch, and if he doesn't win it, then Dyson Maeda's setting a race.
It's one way to slow him down.
Yeah, he kicked him in the knee. I think it was the side of the foot, so the sort of height of the contact, it's never going to be anything more than a yellow, but it was very high contact on Dyson Maeda. We've criticised Alistair Johnson a lot. What's he got in him here? Because he's trying to get in. There's a ball into Yang, and there's a goal.
What a goal. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Real Hatate provides the finish, and it is game on. Celtic 2, Rangers 2 is rolled in onto his right foot. He finds the angled finish. Celtic's comeback is complete, but who will go on and win this one now? Celtic 2, Rangers 2, 74 on the clock.
But what a goal, pieced together brilliantly. Rangers just switch off as it Conor Barron doesn't match Hatate's forward run. It's a lovely little pass from McCowan, and what a finish, back across Butland, no chance for the goalkeeper, and what a time to score. 15 minutes left. Celtic will fancy this.
Yeah, Barron knows he's in trouble. He looks up and he knows Hatate's away, but he's still got a lot to do. Let's not be kidded there. And he just slides it by Jack Butland. So all of a sudden, game on now.
Andy, do the kind of praise Celtic bit first, because that's just what Celtic's midfielders do normally, isn't it? How often do we see them getting down in the sides of the box, and it's Hatate that provides a finish?
Yeah, well, we said, look, McCowan's been that danger man for Celtic's middle three. I thought he's been the best by a large distance, and it's him that finds that little pocket of space to get turned and slide a lovely ball through to Hatate. It's a great third man run. It's a great finish. Celtic have only really had two clear cut opportunities in the second half, and they've made them pay. From a Rangers perspective, Barron drops his runner, but I would really like to see it again for Robin Propper's position, and he looks so wide and just creates that huge gap in the middle of the pitch for Luke McCowan just to slide it through.
Yeah, a brilliant. I actually turned to Andy when Engels took the free kick and he went backwards, and I thought backwards again, but they find McCowan in that pocket and they struggled run about the 30-yard mark to find the midfielders in those little pockets. Got to say, great composure, because McCowan goes to play it and he just takes a moment to wait for Hatate to make that movement. A great ball through.
And the Rangers need to find a way of getting more of the ball.
Yes,
we're now at sort of, this is probably more dramatic than like St Mirren going to Celtic Park or Motherwell going to Celtic Park in terms of possession and just how much of the ball Celtic have.
Yeah, and again, I just listen, the direct approach has worked for the most part in the game today, but I think when they turn the ball over, they have to complete one or two passes. It can't just go straight flip the other way. and allowed Celtic to build attacks again and again. And listen, we said Celtic haven't done too much with the possession in the second half, but the pressure's going to come if you keep giving the ball up, and that's exactly what happens. They now have to flip the mindset for the last 15 minutes and how they can gain some sort of control in this game and create more of an attacking output.
Well, there's a brief period of respite for Rangers. They've not had many in the second half, but James Tavernier and Václav Černý are there. Černý will just float a free kick in. The initial header is one, but it was always going to be a lot, and I think that's a foul from Conor Barron on Yang.
Yeah, listen, there's still a bit of this game to go. There's a winner here somewhere, isn't there? It's one of those games that you've got to say there's a winner here. I agree with Andy. I think Rangers' second half, the press hasn't been as good. I think in possession they've given the ball away cheaply. They've not covered the ground as much as they should have, and all of a sudden Celtic have just started, playing nice balls in, taking care of the ball a bit better.
Chance, it just won't fall for Celtic. Here's Sloop, left-footed, good save. Jack Butland. The better chance was when it was cut across the box, but no Celtic player could really control the ball. It was Yang. He flashed it across, the defender missed it, Eder McCowan couldn't, and Sloop's effort, he caught it well, parried away for a corner.
It's a big opportunity, Celtic bodies arriving in the box. It just didn't settle for McCowan. Rangers players look like they're running on empty at the minute. Those forward runs from Yang, Maeda the opposite side causing problems.
It was almost like proper missing it put McCowan off, in a strange way. So Arne Engels, who's had a tough day, according to all the pundits, was going to swing in the corner, but Robin Proper and Mike Nawrocki are getting the old school teacher lecture.
Yeah, it's Yang's made a difference with his energy there, that forward run, and it's the first time in this game where Nico Raskin looked as if he was a wee bit laboured trying to get back in. Rangers don't deal with the initial cutback, and it's a decent effort for Sloop.
Proper just needs to be careful.
I know, he's
booked as well.
It's another good ball in. Jack Butland does well to punch though. It's an ambitious ball.
I'd like to see him come for that.
Back in from Celtic. Tavernier well clear. Going to be a triple change, it looks like, for Rangers. So write them down: Igaman, Inciala and Lawrence. The Rangers could be in here. They might have caught Celtic on the counter attack, and they have. Cyril Dessers, if he's onside, he brings it back. It's well defended.
They've still got a chance. They've still got a chance here on the right hand side. Oh, it's a great ball from Černý.
Conor Barron, and he drags it wide with the left foot. It's not the man you want on the end of that chance. No offence to him.
Never looked comfortable.
So wasteful from Rangers. Dessers has to let that come across and take it on his right. He checks back and goes inside, and then Barron just looked like a fish out of water there. What an opportunity.
I mean, Černý does everything you'd want him to do in that scenario. He waits till Dessers checks his run, he plays him in, and I don't understand why his first touch takes him back towards the defender, and then again he just tries to shift it out his feet and have a shot. Rangers can recycle the attack into Conor Barron, and like he says, it was definitely a nosebleed for Conor Barron being at that area of the pitch there.
You'd see how long it took him to wind up the shot. It's always a telltale
But I tell
sign.
you what, Rangers will be doing well to get a better opportunity than that, Gordon. I mean, that was a 3v3 counter attack. Dessers looked as if he could be in a 1v1 situation, but the first touch doesn't set him up.
Well, the way the second half's gone, you'd have to agree. It's
really
great tracking back from Yang, who robs Yilmaz, and just again Celtic maybe just rushing a pass when they don't have to.
He's got to play back to him. He's got to play it back to him. He's got all the space in the world, and he tries a difficult ball. It's opening up now.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more frantic.
Yeah, it certainly has. I think there's another goal in this game.
And if Rangers are tired, Andy, that triple change it looks like they're going to make. Sterling needs to be careful. He's had a nibble at Maeda, and he's already booked, remember. Look, McCowan's now not got anyone for company. Wins a throw in.
McCowan's been good for Celtic, especially second half. You just wonder, triple change, Dessers off, Sterling usually as it shooter. Raskin's on his feet, out his feet, sorry. Could be anybody, because you're on Tom Lawrence coming on as well. So it'll be interesting to see the substitutions here.
Inciala's one of them, so it'll be interesting to see where and who he's going to be replacing.
Well, we know Dessers will definitely come off.
Yeah, and I think it's the right time for changes, to be honest with you. I think Rangers do look, I think they've looked a bit more laboured in the last 10 minutes.
Looked a sore one there for Raskin. Just Maeda
just falls into his leg, doesn't
knee,
he?
yeah, and it's a straight leg for Raskin. You can see the physio there just moving his knee. So I wonder if Raskin was down for coming off, but then maybe just holding these subs.
he's put in an incredible shift in these 80 minutes. So I don't know if he's got anything left in the game, but he's been really good for Rangers today.
Was that Barry Ferguson telling Neil McCann to calm down? Was it another two fiery characters? I could have picked it up wrong. He's telling somebody to calm down in the dugout. I'm not sure Billy Dodds is much calmer either, is he?
You can understand why, though. Being 2 up, then losing the 2 goals. And
was that Rangers' first shot of the second half, the Barron one?
Like I said before the game, if you offered Barry probably a draw, he'd take your hand off at half time. He certainly wouldn't.
Any of you predict a draw?
There's only one person in here predicted a draw.
The birthday boy as well. I've been waiting to bring it up. There's a lull in play. It feels like the perfect time. Was it 68? Is it
68? Yeah, today.
Brilliant. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I feel like 68.
So was it 63? Happy birthday from us to you.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of your adoring public listening as well.
I wouldn't have spent it any other way than being in here with you 3 guys.
Any plans for later?
No, quiet.
Sure.
Recliner.
Right, Cherney, Sterling and Barron off. Igman, Nsiala, Lawrence on.
Really, really surprised at that. Listen, not too much for the subs coming on, but I thought it would be a straight swap with Igman for Dessers. You just called it as well, Daz. I thought Dess would have came off the pitch with Cherney staying on, but I don't know if that's, is that physicality, is that tired legs?
I feel for Nicholas Raskin.
Yeah, he's done some amount of running.
He deserves a wee rest, Gordon. I know that's not the way it works.
Yeah,
so I'm half
but unfortunately he's got to go to the well for another maybe 10 minutes, depending how long this game goes.
I'd take him to the well.
Like Andy.
Maybe if Lennon Miller leaves for 10 million, buy him. See what happens. Anyway, Maeda's in the corner of the box. It's not really flat. That kind of sums up Alistair Johnson's day.
Off the knee.
That's the best defending he's done.
Nsiala misses it, so it falls to Johnson at the back post, but it just cannons off his knee or his shin and goes out of play.
It was much better from Celtic as well, working it wide to Maeda. Johnson's in at the back post, but
we cut him a tiny bit of slack because he doesn't expect it to come to him.
Yeah, just bounces off him.
I think Nsiala gets a slight touch on it as well that might impact it, but listen, 10 minutes to go. I still think the ascendancy's with Celtic. Rangers need to try and get some sort of period of control in the game. They'll be hoping that the subs make the same impact that Yang has in his 10 minutes. He's looked lively.
How good is that from John Souttar though, Andy? You know him well, having been at Hearts. The way he's able to step out and even dies in Maeda. The timing's so good that Maeda can't quite get there and has to foul him, and it takes the pressure off.
Yeah, well, they have to show composure one way or another for this last 10 minutes. At this stage of the game, I'm not too sure I want it to be my centre half dribbling into that area of the pitch, but listen, that's a huge strong point of John Souttar. He's so comfortable stepping into the game, and Daiza Maeda just fouls him, but
he's filled by Tom Lawrence.
Yeah, he took a sore one. I've got to say there.
Tom Lawrence called up to the Wales squad this week for the first time since being at Rangers, so it's been a while.
This looks like a problem for Maeda. He doesn't usually stay down, does he?
It's quite a nasty kick he gets from Tom Lawrence. I mean, VAR won't give out a booking, and I'm not sure it goes beyond that, but I think if the ref had different view, Mark, maybe a yellow card would have come out.
Yeah, I would say so. Interesting one, this for Brendan Rodgers. He's getting back up to his feet now, because I'm wondering who else.
Who else have they got there that can come on
young
and
boy
change?
Bonner, maybe.
Yeah.
He would be your replacement, I think, for Maeda, but he's back on his feet anyway.
Take more than that, you suspect, to rule out Daizen Maeda.
Looks like 2 strikers for Rangers now.
So going for it then. Is that because, Andy, even with there not being that kind of same, not that there's no pressure, of course there always is in this fixture, but if Rangers were to come out of this with a valiant 3-2 defeat, is it, the risk and reward? He could go on and win it.
Yeah, but I just think for being 2-0 up in the game.
Sure, but what I mean is that the sort of fallout.
Absolutely, listen, you've got to go for it. It's a draw or a win or a defeat. Listen, it's not going to have a true reflection for where the league title is going to go. But we say this is a massive game for Barry Ferguson more than anyone.
Yang gets a sore one there. A kick from Hamza Igaman. That's really poor from, I think it's Luke McCowan, who, to be fair, has been fairly reliable for Celtic today, but he just forced that pass across the box and it was cut out. Back now with Kasper Schmeichel though.
I'd like to see Ida though at the edge of that box here, just linking the play. I think that's what McCown's looking for.
I thought you were going to be very harsh there and say I'd like to see Ida.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's offered absolutely nothing since he come on. But this is one of those games that someone who's had a poor game will probably step up and be the hero. Just get the feeling about it.
Again, I know we've mentioned that a couple of times that Mike Narofsky's did. I think he's did well. I think he's been one of the most composed out the back four for Celtic.
Yeah, Mark knows his players. He picked them out and led them. Yeah,
not seen a lot of him right enough, but he's okay.
Yeah, Austin Trusty, remember, missing today for Celtic, as is Liam Scales, hence why Mike Nawrocki plays. Here is Yang, who comes in off the right and tries to find Hatate and Schlipp, and he'll know Maeda's always there. What can he carve out? He's added a bit of craft to his game this season. It's going to be a long range shot from outside the box, and it just goes beyond from Rio Hatate.
I don't think that was ever troubling Butland. It was good play, good build up for Celtic. Move it from right to left. Hatate just shifts it on his right, tries to curl it in, but it's never troubling the goalkeeper.
He's obviously got it in his locker, Mark, but you forget how low percentage these shots actually are at times.
Well, he's a long way out, and he's moving away from the goal as well, so he has to wrap his foot right round it. Doesn't get enough bend in it, and Daz is right, Butland's never troubled really. From that, Rangers will be happy, restricting Celtic again to shots from outside the box rather than crosses coming from those wide areas.
Would you know? There's been a slip. It's a slip from Alistair Johnson. Hamza Egeman might be in here, and he has. It's a shot at goal for Rangers.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And that might just wrap it up. Rangers have had to soak up a lot of pressure in the second half, but finally they get an opportunity, and it's taken in some style by Hamza Egeman. It's a slip from Alistair Johnson. It allows Egeman in, it sits up, and he blasts it into the top corner. Celtic 2, Rangers 3.
Carter Vickers as well. Carter Vickers doesn't deal with the initial ball. Dessers just bumps him, gives him that bit of physicality, doesn't deal with it, and then as soon as it drops, Alistair Johnson loses his footing. Hamza Egeman's alive to it, and I tell you what a finish it is.
It's an outstanding strike. He gets a wee bit of luck, but he's about 17 yards just inside the 18-yard box, puts his laces through it right into the top corner. Schmeichel, no chance. Alistair Johnson, what a day to forget from. He's not even slipped. He's not even slipped. He's tangled in his own feet.
How good a finish is that though, Gordon? He's not scored a lot of goals recently, and he's got stick for it. He's saved his moment nicely for this one.
Top class. Absolutely top class. What a finish that is from the young man. He's come in for a little bit of criticism lately. He's come on, he's on to make an impact. You cannot make a bigger impact than that. Listen, you can talk about all the time about the fact that, Celtic players slip and whatever it may happen, but when it goes to him and he's only one thought in his mind is to find the back of net, what a finish. That surely wins a game for Rangers.
Now the fans behind the Rangers dugout are kicking off a bit. I think there was some energetic celebrations.
No, I don't know if you've seen it, Gordon. It looks like Vaclav Černý sprays a water bottle at the crowd as he's running by celebrating, and the Celtic fans and just behind the dugout weren't too happy.
Yeah, you wouldn't take that too kindly, would you? I noticed Vaclav Černý was a bit excited, so the fans are not happy at all. Players running down the touchline and fans. It's not particularly nice, but we'll deal with the fallout a bit later on when it becomes clearer. Celtic 2, Rangers 3 is the headline though, Gordon DL. And it's just an incredible game. There only looked one winner at half time. There then only looked a different winner after about 20 minutes of the second half, and it's Rangers that have taken the lead again.
Well, 10 minutes to go, I said it's that sort of game that there's a goal here, there's a winner somewhere. I've got to be honest, I thought it'd be from the home team, but as I say, Egeman, you're on to make a difference, and what a difference that is. That's just probably got your team 3 points. They get out of there absolutely over the moon. Celtic will be so disappointed their performance, and especially Alistair Johnson will not want to see the rerun of this football game.
Mark, everyone has an off day. You guys tell us this is an all-timer from Alistair Johnson.
Oh, without doubt. I mean, he cannot do anything right, even run backwards properly without falling over. Yeah, not a good day for him. He's been so good for Celtic over the years, but this one's probably his poorest performance. But I just can't believe how panicked Celtic have been at the back. We said in the first 45, you put the ball into that Celtic box, it's panic everywhere. They regained a bit of composure, but there you go again, Rangers just direct, and it causes all sorts of problems, and they get what looks to be the winning goal. So shambolic at the back, Celtic this afternoon.
Andy, I said it to Gordon, Hamza Egeman has it not a bit of criticism, but maybe people realised that it was never going to be straightforward for him. He was never going to come in and stay in and look brilliant, and maybe people got a bit carried away at the start. But if you told him he could have that moment in reserve to pull out the bag, I'm sure he would have taken it.
Well, listen, he's a maverick. It's as simple as that. He's when he's on it, he's absolutely outstanding. He's technically very good. He's got all the attributes that you'd want in a striker. But I think he's young. He's showed some inconsistencies of late, and he just has to be that wee bit more round, that wee bit more polished as a player and a striker. But listen, when you see it again, it is an unbelievable finish. He just puts his foot through the ball, leaving Castle Smythe got absolutely no chance, and it's into the top corner. And Rangers actually now controlling the game a wee bit better to try and see out the game.
Yeah, 5 minutes added on, and we've already played 2 of them. So Rangers very close to what would be an impressive victory. Can it change the destination of the title race? I think no, everyone agrees with that before the ball was kicked. But to go away to your rivals a couple of days after European action, a couple of days after 120 minutes, when you have been pretty disappointing domestically all season, and potentially dig out a win, well, it's going to be a moment to savour for the Rangers fans and for Barry Ferguson, if they can hang on, and there's no reason to suggest that they can't. Only 3 minutes remaining.
I've got to say, if they do hang on, overall I think they deserve it. I really do. I thought they come out the traps brilliantly. 2-0. Yeah, you've got to surrender a little bit of possession to Celtic. That's what they're there. They're a home side. They've got quality players. But to show that character as well, because everybody thought the next goal was coming from Celtic.
And again, we praised him earlier, so it doesn't mean he's immune from criticism. But look, McCowan, that's really poor. When Rangers are trying to defend a bit and Celtic trying to build towards the end, he just fires one out of play.
Not what you need when there's only a couple of minutes left. 9 goals in the last 3 games Rangers have scored against Celtic. That is incredible. So these fixtures, we always spoke about how could Rangers get closer to Celtic in these games. These games haven't been the problem. It's the other ones that they slip up along the way.
And how much of a worry would it be for Brendan Rodgers, Mark? Because it was something we spoke about earlier, but it's now came back because Rangers are... It's about the efficiency Rangers are doing that with. They're scoring 9 goals without anywhere near as much of the ball as Celtic, which tells you how potent the Rangers attack is and how leaky the Celtic defence is.
Exactly. You think of those goals, those 9 goals, you can pick holes in all of them from a Celtic point of view. And Rangers, I'm not taking anything away from them, they've not had to do an awful lot to score in that time. So lots of problems for Brendan Rodgers to mull over.
And even that from Yang, I think, was just ambitious. Doesn't even cover it, tries to flick one inside, a very low percentage pass.
And I don't know where Raston's getting the energy from, Gordon. Again, the ball's over his shoulder, he sprints back into position. Yang tries to play one round the corner. Raskin manages to get a foot on it to take a bit of pressure off, but still just over a minute left.
Yeah, I think he's getting the energy because he knows what he's going to mean at the end of the game, Andy. You know, what a great result this would be for Rangers, sorry. You can talk about Celtic being poor all afternoon, but I thought Rangers tactically, and then the substitutions, it's all about making an impact. None bigger than Egeman.
Yeah, Celtic haven't even really attacked at all since the Rangers goal, which might disappoint them. Usually you'd expect the kitchen sink, and we are almost out of time. This will be the last attack.
I'm amazed. There's a big clock there that tells you the time.
It's a massive chance, and it's Alistair Johnson at the back post. He skies it over the bar. Eyes were drawn as well to Adam Ida in the box before. He felt he was maybe fouled as he tried to get on the end of it. I'm not sure if VAR would take a look.
What an opportunity.
Clean view, but
Johnson,
it's a huge chance.
Yards out.
He's just had one of those days, isn't he?
It's an unbelievable chance.
I think if you'd have taken the goalkeeper out, he still wouldn't have scored. That's how bad a day he's having.
Yeah, he tried to flick it with the outside of his right foot, hit his shin and went over the top. That is going to be full time as soon as this kick goes long. Barry Ferguson is like a coiled spring, and it is full time. Celtic Park, Andrew and Marvin.
Celtic 2, Rangers 3, the full time score. The 2,500 travelling Rangers fans over to our right erupt because they've seen their team put in an incredible effort against their biggest rivals, just days on from going to extra time and penalties against Fenerbahce, making it through to the Europa League last 8. They've then come to the home of their rivals and won with an 88th minute goal from Hamza Egeman. An incredible game that swung both ways. Rangers 2 ahead at the break, Celtic coming back to make it level, but the Moroccan is the hero on the day. It all started very, very quickly. James Tavernier with a couple of long throws. The ball fell to Nicholas Raskin at the edge of the box. His strike saved by Kasper Schmeichel from the resulting corner. It was the same two Rangers players involved. James Tavernier whipping the ball in, and Raskin was there with a header, flicking it past Kasper Schmeichel into the far corner to stun Celtic Park. The travelling supporters absolutely delighted, but Celtic could have equalised just 10 minutes in. Rio Hatate, really good curling effort. Jack Butland had to make a spectacular save to stop it from going into the top corner. Then at the other end, Kasper Schmeichel with a bit of a disaster, a poor pass out that went straight to Václav Černý. No idea what he was thinking, because he should have shot, because Kasper Schmeichel was way out of his goal. However, he decided to drive with the ball. He let Kasper Schmeichel get back in position. He rounded the goalkeeper, tried to cut the ball back, but Celtic managed to get the bodies back. Then Rangers got their second. James Tavernier with the ball over the top. Raskin flicking the header into the middle of the box. Mohamed Diamande had time, set himself, found the bottom corner. Rangers were 2-0 up. Celtic had a couple of chances before the break. Dujon Sterling had to make a brilliant last gasp clearance, but Celtic were miles off it in that first half. Brendan Rodgers had to do something, had to make changes. Nicholas Kuhn came off, Adamida on, Maeda to the left, Jota to the right, and it paid off almost instantly. Jota getting to the byline, standing up a lovely ball to the back post, and there was Daisen Maeda rising high to head in and get a goal back right after the break. Both teams continued to make changes. Not many clear-cut chances at either end in the second half until Luke McCowan with a lovely slide rule pass to Rio Hatate. He let the ball run across his body, right-footed shot across Jack Butland into the bottom corner for the equaliser. Huge celebrations in the home end. Celtic Park was rocking. They felt that they could come back and get all 3 points, but still at that stage you felt it could have gone either way. You did feel a winner might come. Celtic looked the most likely, but it came through Rangers, and it came through the substitute Hamza Egeman. A long ball over the top made it to him after Alistair Johnson slipped. It sat up nicely for the Moroccan, and he smashed it high into the top corner, leaving Kasper Schmeichel with absolutely no chance. The players, including the substitutes, ran towards the 2,500 away fans in the corner. Their party was almost spoiled in the 5th minute of injury time. Alistair Johnson with a big chance, sliding in at the back post, but his effort went over the bar, and the full-time whistle sounded. The Rangers players, the Rangers staff are now over in that corner, celebrating with the supporters as Celtic Park empties. The full-time score at Celtic Park is Celtic 2, Rangers 3. Marvin Bartley, quite an incredible game we've witnessed.
100%. What a game of football we've witnessed there. Rangers in the first half, obviously far the better team, going with a 2-0 lead. Celtic come out in the second half and do what we expect to see a Celtic team to do. They get themselves back into the game, and at that point I felt there was only one winner, and that was Celtic. But fair play to Barry Ferguson and his staff and the players he brought on to make an impact. They did just that. Players running on absolute fumes, playing 120 minutes on Thursday, did another massive effort today. I can tell you one thing, when you have a 2-0 lead, you feel absolutely fine. You start to concede goals, all of a sudden fatigue starts to set in, but they found another gear to go again, and what a fantastic finish it was at the end.
Yeah, you talk about the physicality of the Rangers players being able to make it through 120 minutes midweek and then to do 90 minutes today, but the mental aspect of it, to go 2-0 up, to be pegged back by Celtic, the players could have had their heads go down at that point. They could have let the game pass them by, but they kept on pushing. And the supporters just showing their claim there to the players.
Yeah, listen, the supporters are absolutely delighted with their players, and I'm not surprised. You know, far too many times this season they've seen Rangers players pull out performances that they don't want to associate with the football club. But today they showed what they were just about. And as you said there, you know, it's so easy mentally and physically to go when you concede those goals. Fatigue sets in, cramp starts to set in. You see players going down on their haunches, they're doubled up, and Barry Ferguson's looking at what to do. And as I said, he brought players on to make an impact, and they did just that. His players are giving them absolutely everything. And now over the international break, they'll need to rest up. But first and foremost, they'll enjoy this tonight.
The home end at Celtic Park virtually empty already. The 2,500 Rangers fans cheered the players and the staff off the pitch. They are now down the tunnel, but the party is only starting for those Rangers supporters. What a game at Celtic Park today. The full-time score, Celtic 2, Rangers 3.
Wow, what an afternoon. What did you make of that? Give us a call right now, 01419511025. How pleasing is it, Rangers fans? Where did it go wrong, Celtic fans? Let's go through it all. And the good news is you can watch us as well. We're going to hot-foot it through to the other studio. You can stream the show on YouTube or Twitter or wherever you normally watch us. But give us a call. However you're tuning in, give us a call, please. 01419511025, and we'll take your calls next.
The longest successful points kick in international rugby history was 70 yards, 8.5 inches. That's nothing. The new Volkswagen ID7 Tourer has a range of up to 424 miles at 746,240 yards. It's got the distance. Volkswagen ID7 Tourer. Miles better. ID7 Tourer official test range 358 to 424 miles when fully charged depending on trim. May not reflect real-life driving.
Oh, Jamie's got a new car. He only passed his test last week. Chloe and the kids on the school run and their new hybrid, and the Flemings from 23 off to see their daughter at uni. Get car and van insurance that's right up your street at parkerscompare.com. Created by the experts at Parkers, we're 100% independent and dedicated to helping you find the right insurance policy. Quick and easy, you could compare quotes in just 5 minutes from some of the UK's leading providers. For car insurance comparisons you can trust, visit parkerscompare.com. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. Up front, at the back, on the wings. The league leader for accident repairs.
Mark Wilson, Gordon Dalziel and Andy Halliday are here in the studio. Marvin Bartley still at Celtic Park, and we want to know what you made of today's game. It's always a big game, loads of talking points, but did anyone see that one coming? Rangers racing into a 2-goal lead, Celtic pegging them back and looking like the team in the ascendancy, and then Hamza Igeman popping up with the winner late on. 13 points the gap, so not going to alter too much, but I don't think that will stop the Rangers fans, players and management from enjoying their evening. So how did you look back on it? 01419511025. Let's ask Marvin first, because he's in the stadium. Marvin, how would you sum it up now the dust is beginning to settle? Or maybe not. Oh, there he is. We've got you now, Marvin. Sorry, take it away.
Sorry, I didn't even hear you come into me, Gordon. What was the question?
How was it?
Listen, brilliant game. As I said at the start, the atmosphere was fantastic to have 2,500 fans back in, and obviously Celtic end were all packed out. But in terms of the game, what a game of football that was. We speak about the products in Scotland and so many people have an opinion. Watch that game of football. Really was a game of two halves. Rangers absolutely fantastic in the first half. Celtic were a mile off it. Brendan Rodgers got amongst his players in the second half. You saw a huge reaction. Gets to 2-2, and I honestly felt Celtic were the only team to go on and win that. And then Rangers again, they dug in deep, and a fantastic goal to finish off a fantastic game. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm delighted I was here rather than the studio with you guys, as much as I enjoy your company.
Yeah, listen, I can't believe it. Honestly, I can't believe it when Celtic brought it back to make it 2 each. I never foreseen that Rangers were going to garner a chance up. I thought they were quite happy to sit back and take the 2-2. But I mean, Hamza Igeman, what a finish, what an impact coming off the bench. You can analyse it from a Celtic's point of view and how he defended the 3 goals. But listen, what a result for Rangers.
Yeah, I agree with Marv. I think that we all were watching the game when it went 2-2. You take into consideration what happened on Thursday night with Rangers. They looked a lot of tired legs. They get pegged back, and all of a sudden you're thinking only got to be one winner here. But all credit to Barry Ferguson and the staff. They made the substitutions. They come on, you're looking for an impact, and not a bigger impact than Igeman. When that ball drops to him, yes, Celtic defensively were all over the place. He still had a bit to do. He gave Schmeichel absolutely no chance. What a goal to win a game.
I think today shows how hard these fixtures are to predict. I mean, I said it was going to be 1-0 Celtic and it was going to be a tight and cagey affair. It was anything but. I could not see Rangers racing into a 2-goal lead the way they did. And it could have been worse, by the way, for Brendan Rodgers at half-time. It could have been 3. But they got themselves, stabilised themselves, got back in the game. But it is criminal to go on then and lose that game and lose the third goal in the fashion that they did. But well done Rangers, well done Barry Ferguson, got the tactics spot on, but the personnel, the players, after a big Thursday night, they turned up at Celtic Park and got the job done.
Yeah, what did you all make of it though? It's all well and good hearing from these four, but I want to hear from you. 0141 951 1025. How pleasing was it? Is it the type of day, Andy, with the Rangers fans? They just separate it. You have to enjoy these when they come along. That's what football is. That's what rivalry is. There are obviously bigger meetings between these sides that have got something riding on them, which wasn't the case today in terms of a league or whatever. But it's exactly what the Rangers fans needed after a difficult domestic season, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, some are going to say it's a dead rubber. Some are going to say that it has no bearing on the league title. And listen, that factor's certainly right. But try and tell that pocket of 2,500 Rangers fans was in Celtic Park if they enjoyed that. And listen, I don't even think the most optimistic Rangers fans seen that coming today, especially the type of result it was. Like Mark said, racing into a 2-goal lead, and as soon as Celtic pegged it back to make it 2-2, I think everybody only felt there was only one team in the ascendancy, but Rangers found it in them for somewhere to create one more chance. And like we said, Hamza Egerman, what a goal.
It was a lesson in efficiency, Marvin. We said Rangers were good at that. We've seen it in Europe, we've seen it against Celtic before. The match stats are on the TV, 29% possession, and that does not matter a jot when the scoreboard reads Celtic 2, Rangers 3.
It really doesn't, Gordon, and it's also what you do with the possession. Yes, Celtic had a lot of possession, but I don't remember seeing Celtic play so many backward passes, so many squared passes in all my time in being in Scotland. So, yeah, they did dominate it. They didn't move it quick enough. They didn't really run Rangers into the ground like I expected them to do, with forward runs, with forward passes, and just going from side to side to really stretch Rangers. They failed to do so. Rangers were comfortable out of possession, and that's not something you can always put to them, especially here at Celtic Park. And then when they got the ball, they were devastating with it. Like you said, they got 3 goals, 3 very good goals from their point of view. Celtic, especially the last one, some of the defending was absolutely comical. But from Rangers' point of view, as I said, the only stat that matters is the one that shows that they've won the game 3-2. Brendan Rodgers and his players will be so frustrated. It was so unlike them. But listen, Callum McGregor, we spoke about it before the game. We spoke about it at half-time. What a miss he was.
And the physical effort after Thursday, Andy, as well. If there was a team that should have finished strong, should have been Celtic. And Rangers are the team. I think we all said it before the game. No one could see. Sorry, at half time, I don't think anyone could see Celtic winning the game. And with 10 minutes to go, I don't think anyone could see Rangers winning it. And they really found something and dug deep. Yeah,
well, I remember a couple of seasons ago, Gordon, we had the same debate when Rangers and Celtic played in the Scottish Cup final, and they had the European exploits on the Thursday night, and then it went to extra time, and you felt who was going to finish the game stronger. And I think it was the exact same questions with opposing coming into today, and it kind of went exactly how we predicted, where I think to start these games, I think adrenaline is always going to take you over, but then going into the last 20-25 minutes, that you really feel as if then physically it might start to tell for Rangers. But like Marv says, and we said it during the game, I don't think Celtic done enough to make Rangers run. I don't think they put them under enough pressure. I don't think they created that many chances given the amount of possession they actually did have. And Rangers were the one that managed to find that energy in the last 10 minutes to create one more chance, and they obviously got it through Hamza Egerman. Again, it just flashed by as the highlight there. I didn't actually realise how big a chance that was for Alistair Johnson in the last minute. He's got to at least hit the target, and if he hits the target for that area of the pitch, it's probably a goal.
Robert is the first caller through. How pleased are you, Robert?
Over the moon, guys. I phoned in Friday thinking that it couldn't be topped after what we done on Thursday, but credit to the guys, all credit to Barry Ferguson. He's brought the team back fighting. We've lost everything this season, but the pride, that was it all about the day. I honestly thought it'd be a bridge too far, but no, credit where credit's due. No, I mean, they've done exceptionally well. I thought we'd blown it with Tierney missing that one, but anyway, over the moon, mate. Over the moon.
What in particular impressed you, Robert? Did you see it coming?
Honestly, I'm saying I never expected to get 2-0 up at half time. Honestly, I was like, this is brilliant, but I knew in my own heart, I said they'll come back. They'll definitely come back, but I'm thinking after Thursday with the extra time and the penalties, I thought it might be a bridge too far, but no, credit where credit is due. No, I mean, Barry's done well. He's done really well considering what we've had to put up with through the full season. So he's gave us back a wee bit of pride, you know what I mean? Because if we'd have got beat today, it'd have took a shine off Thursday, you know what I mean? But listen, I'm over the moon. We're absolutely over the moon.
Did we actually see yet again, Andy, the reinforcement of what people think Rangers' strengths and weaknesses are? because all season long people keep saying, how are they doing this? How do they go from one extreme to the other? And the most obvious answer you hear is they're better without the ball. They're better when a team comes onto them. They're better when they've got more space. Hence why they get so much success in Europe. The second theory that you often hear is maybe they're also suited to being kind of underdogs, not quite being the overwhelming favourite. So both of them are the case today. And no coincidence Rangers go and win another game.
Listen, I completely agree with you, and that's kind of, I've said it every time there's been these Thursday night games where they do seem to suit the game where it's a bit more open. They can counter-attack teams, but we actually look at the 3 goals Rangers score, none of them have the counter-attacks at all. They're all just really poor defensively for Celtic, and Rangers fashioning the most they can at the chances they created. But that being said, that listen, Barry Ferguson and his team took a direct approach. It seems as if that was a way to try and unsettle Celtic, and I think it did. I thought it unsettled them for the first whistle. I think it was Mark that speculated before the game with Mike Navrosky just coming into the team. Are they going to try and go that direct, try and unsettle him, try and bully him? But it was actually the other 3
he was the least Celtic's worries
that I thought struggled with the physicality the most.
Carter Vickers I thought was poor. I know we're highlighting Alistair Johnson, how poor he was, but that full right hand side of the Celtic defence, Carter Vickers, him, and if you include Engels in that triangle as well, really poor. And Rangers exploited that, and they took their chances when they had it, which is obviously important in these games. But I thought Rangers were comfortable through it. I thought there was a wee spell in the second half, maybe for 15 minutes in the middle of that second half, Celtic started moving the ball a bit quicker, couple of forward runs. But once Rangers settled that again, I thought they were comfortable.
Do you just enjoy this, Robert, and take it for what it is, or are you the type that thinks, look at all the things that have gone wrong? You can beat Celtic at home, you can beat Celtic away, you can pretty much match them in a cup final. Does that bring all the other disappointments into your head, or are you the type that just enjoys this for what it is?
Listen, Andy knows me. I've been following Rangers for over 50 years, and I was gutted seeing we get put out by Queen's Park. Honestly, I thought, how low can we go here? But listen, you're a football supporter through thick and thin. You're not there a fed weather supporter, you know what I mean? And that's what I think. I thought, well, we've done exceptionally well on Thursday, and then to top us off by the day, I think nobody gave us a hope and hell's chance of winning the other day, because if it was against us with the extra time, and you could see the fatigue. But credit to the players, everyone to a man fought just in nail to get it across the line, and I'm so proud of them.
Any in particular you'd like to single out for praise?
I just thought that every one of them. No, I mean, I thought Butland was outstanding. No, I mean, and again, like Mark will tell you, I mean, Schmeichel, when have you ever seen him conceding 2 goals? No, I mean, so quick. I mean, I don't know what. I think he was like a rabbit in the headlights. And I thought, if we'd have got the 3rd goal, it'd have been interesting, but whenever Celtic come back, but we managed to hang on and to come away. They've done to us umpteen times, and other teams beat the last kick of the ball and score, and more so away from home. You know what I mean? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and every Rangers fan should be proud of what we've achieved in the last week. Honestly, it's been good, but listen, we're not getting carried away with ourselves. The league is first and foremost, but at least we've got something to hold on to.
Yeah, it's been a real good few days for Rangers fans, and they're certainly going to enjoy it. Look, it's been a real poor season, you've got to say, but when these moments come along, you've got to take them on board and enjoy it. Yes, the league's gone, I think we'll all admit that. I thought the difference today was, I think Rangers caught Celtic by surprise. I thought we all looked at this game, Celtic were going to come out, they were hurting from the last game at New Year. Brendan Rodgers wanted a bit of revenge, the players and everything included. Rangers went right at Celtic, and goals are so important, the fact that early goals, Rangers got that. And you talk about who would you pick out as a team, Barry will say everybody together. I think the last 2 games Raskin has been outstanding, really outstanding, and I think he deserved his call up to the Belgium squad, and he'll take a lot of confidence from that as well. They showed great character. I think all the boys thought 2-2 after what happened, the amount of minutes they'd played on Thursday. Celtic looked like the team was going to go and win it. You've got to dig in, you've got to show character, and they showed that.
Who impressed you, Marvin, in the stadium?
Oh, listen, like their boys are saying there, to a man, I thought they were very, very good. I thought Barron got through a lot of work. You know, you've spoken about Raskin already. Listen, so many of them. Sterling at times as well. There were so many good performances from them. And as I said, they didn't have a lot of the ball, so it's about the work rate. And, you know, as I said, being comfortable out of possession and setting traps and then going and pressing. You know, obviously Barron's not been named in the Scotland squad and he could have felt sorry for himself, but for me today he didn't. He's gone out there and he's put on a real performance. So, yeah, Barron was amongst them. Raskin, I just thought the midfield actually was very, very good.
By the way, I think the wing backs as well. Overall, I thought there was a wee period in the second half where Maeda was maybe starting to get into the game, but for a large majority, well, Kuhn taken off at half time, Maeda relatively quiet, Jota whipped as well. Those are Celtic's main players. That's where they get a lot of their joy, outnumbering you in those wide areas. And I thought Yilmaz one side, Tavernier the other, with Sterling helping them, with Balogun helping them, and with Raskin then plugging those holes. Terrific.
Stephen is on the other line. Thank you to Robert, by the way. Stephen, as a Celtic fan then, what's the feeling after that one?
Disappointed, guys. Just purely on the basis of the fact that we missed one man today, and I never thought I'd say that about Callum McGregor. I love the guy to bits, but we missed him today. Controlled the midfield. We had no midfield today. Hatate, Engels, they've got to step up to the mark, guys. And I know, to me, they weren't capable of doing that. So, your thoughts, please.
Andy Halliday, I'll blame you because you also thought, to be fair, that Celtic might not miss Callum McGregor that much. Have you changed your mind on the back of that performance?
Yeah, I hold my hands up. I think I've certainly got that one wrong. The basis of my point before the game is because I think Callum McGregor's impact over the last two Old Firm games has been relatively quiet, taking nothing away for the fact that I think he's dominated this fixture for a long period of time. But I just think anytime McKeown's played for Celtic this year, I think he's been really, really positive. And I've heard loads of Celtic fans tell me that Arne Engels' natural position is that deep line six. So I didn't think his influence in the team would be missed anywhere near as much as it was today. And I actually think Luke McKeown, we talked about it, I thought Luke McKeown was fine today, but I thought the inclusion of Arne Engels in the six today, I thought he was a non-event for Celtic. I really do. I think any time he was affecting the game at all was for dead ball situations, for set plays. But I thought Rangers got the better of them in that middle four. And listen, with Nico Raskin getting called up during the week, there was that obvious sort of argument where Arne Engels was being the one left out. No, Nico Raskin was the one that's been brought in. So you thought there was going to be a real kind of individual battle there, someone that tries to get in the national team manager's eye. But I thought for me that Arne Engels had a really poor game, and I thought Nico Raskin was the best player on the pitch.
Marvin, it felt, watching it on TV, but you were there, so you can tell us if we're wrong, that early on you didn't really see Arne Engels, which is a worry in itself, because you would see a lot of Callum McGregor, and then when you did start to see Arne Engels, it was very rarely good news for him.
Yeah, for me he was wasted in that deeper role. He really, really was. There's a couple of times during the game where, you know, he went a little bit higher and he tried to make some forward runs. I know Andy's saying there, some people are saying this is natural position, but for me he just didn't look comfortable at all. You know, he looks so much more comfortable playing as a number 8, and he's not really one of them that looks like he wants to build the game. We speak about Callum McGregor, and he gets on the ball and will drop between the two centre halves if he needs to glue everything together. Engels didn't look comfortable at all in terms of trying to do that role. You know, so again, you know, missing Callum McGregor, yes, and I think Engels, for me today, you know, as a number 6 in this game, the game bypassed him. As he said, when he did start to come into it, he was trying to force things. Mark,
we need to leave open the possibility that we're just being clever after the event. And as Andy said, Callum McGregor played the last one, you know, in Rangers 1. No one's saying this is a guaranteed different day if Callum McGregor plays, but based on what we saw, how much was he missed?
Well, huge. I mean, Engels in that role, great at probably spraying longer passes, and that's eye-catching for fans, and fans love to see those 16, 70-yard diagonal passes, fine. But Callum McGregor links everything, short and sharp, takes the ball from the centre backs, gets out the other side to the inverted full backs quickly, and Celtic are out quickly the other side. Engels didn't have that in his locker today, and the amount of times he got it and played negative passes was unreal. Celtic had 71% possession, 500 odd passes, but Marv was right in the stadium, so many of those just negative passes, and Engels was guilty of that. I was trying to think back the game at Celtic Park earlier on in the season. First 10 minutes, Rangers really pressed Celtic high. There was a moment within that McGregor just dropped the shoulder and went the other way and took up the tempo, and that spooked Rangers. And that's what he brings to this Celtic side. He can dictate the tempo, and it was sorely missed today.
Look, I'm sorry, I think they missed him, right? There's no doubt, because I thought Celtic looked weak in the middle of the park. But I think you're right, Gordon. You can't just look and make an excuse of Celtic going, well, hold on a minute, we missed McGregor, there've been so much different.
Fair, I don't think anyone has said that. I don't think anyone's added the last bit.
But I think people are now, you become a better player when you're not in the team. McGregor is a top quality player and you want your top, but Celtic have spent 11 million in Ingles. Right, so if McGregor's not there, you've got to expect somebody to step into that role.
Right, Stephen, how does this feel overall? Because we know that Celtic are going to win the league, and in fact probably a treble, but it is back-to-back defeats. It's back-to-back with 3-0. In fact, it's 3 in a row where Rangers have scored 3. How do you feel about the bigger picture?
The bigger picture is you've got two guys on that part there, like old Hatate, who were spouting for going for 15-20 million. We bought Ingles for 11 million. You know, and Bernardo playing there, but nobody can step into Callum McGregor's shoes right now, as far as I can see. So that's a problem for us.
What is the big picture, Andy? Because we can't change it, and winning the league's the most important thing, and Celtic are going to do it. Like I say, it's probably a treble. But if you are as far ahead as the sort of table suggests, and as the Celtic fans feel that they are, you'd expect to be doing better in these head-to-head games at the moment, surely.
Yeah, I don't think it changed the outlook, a Celtic sort of mentality, should I say, moving forward. But what I think it might do is I think it might alarm them going into the summer, where they feel as if they have to get a replacement for Callum McGregor if he's missing in certain games. Can they get that sort of natural holding midfield player? Because listen, how old's Callum McGregor now? 33. He's not going to be available the 60-70 games that he's been available every season for the last 4 or 5 years. So is it to get that ready-made replacement to try and step in when possible?
He's only 31. You've added a few years on, but that's forgivable. Yeah, Marvin, I wonder again, because all this week you talk about, is it a dead rubber? People always say there's no such thing, can't change the league, but what you experienced in there amongst the Celtic fans is not 60,000 people saying, well, never mind, we'll win the league anyway, because this fixture transcends some of that.
Yeah, listen, Celtic expect to win every game, don't they, domestically? And that's just the way that they're set up and the success they've had over the years. And you're right, Gordon. The fans in here were extremely frustrated. As I said, it was never a dead rubber coming into the game, and it definitely wasn't a dead rubber when they were 2-0 down. When they got back into the game, obviously, the fans were then delighted, but they expected as well. They expected to go on and win the game. When they conceded the third, they were frustrated. They were annoyed. They let the players know that because, it's not a game that they ever want to lose, regardless of league possessions. This is absolutely massive. Yes, Celtic will go on and win the league because they've been absolutely fantastic from the get-go. But today the fans are frustrated, and I think they have every right to be, because I just don't think that Celtic turned up and played to the levels that they should have been. And you can't afford to do that in a derby.
Thank you to Stephen. What about the rest of you? How are you feeling? Whether you're on the winning side or the losing side, give us a call right now, please. 0141 951 1025, and we will speak to you next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair, taking care of your claim from the start to the final whistle.
Mark Wilson, Gordon Dalziel, Andy Halliday, all in the studio. Marvin Bartley is at Celtic Park as well. We do have another game kicking off, a big game as well, a big derby game, just in a different city. It's Dundee United against Dundee. Tony Docherty's side probably need the points more in terms of their bid to climb up the table, but we'll keep an eye on it and let you know what is happening over the next hour or so. We're here to take your calls on 0141 951 1025, and of course we'll hear from the managers as well. I'm very interested to hear how they both take it to Marvin Bartley.
And Barry Ferguson's down doing the press in front of me now, and he's got a massive smile on his face, and rightly so. As I said, Thursday, yes, they lost the game over the course of 120 minutes, but they go on to then go through on penalties. And then today, he spoke about needing a reaction from his players. He needs them to be at it, and they were all of those things. And when they scored that goal at the end, he was down in the corner doing the old Mourinho celebration. He was absolutely delighted for his players. Everyone was off the bench, everyone was together, and he spoke about this, didn't he? When he came in, he said he's going to bring that togetherness back. He was going to bring back what it meant to play for Rangers Football Club, and this will go a long way in doing so.
Craig is a Rangers fan on the line. How did you look back on it now, Craig? You must be happy.
Hi. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I agreed with the caller from the other night there that thought that Celtic were going to steamroll. I did think even the most optimistic Rangers fans would admit that it was probably most likely looking like a Celtic win today. But there was something, when I saw Callum McGregor was missing out, I can sit here and praise the guy because, let's be honest, the guy's a phenomenal player. He's absolutely fantastic. He gives everything for that jersey that they have. That's fine. But today, that just shows after Thursday night that I think it's mentality. It has been mentality all along. I don't think for 1 minute that Philip Clement was innocent in it. I think the players just gave up on it. I honestly think the players just gave up on what he was trying to do, because even fans sitting at home could see exactly what he was trying to do, and it was just becoming so predictable. Now, my question, and I don't know if you guys agree, you guys are all pros, are they now playing for Ferguson because they know there's going to be this possible takeover, they don't know who the manager's going to be? Are they now actually giving themselves a boot up the backside and going, well, we need to do something here? Because, to be honest, it just looks to me like it's been mentality all along.
Andy?
For me personally, I think it remains to be seen, because Philippe Clement was in charge in the 3-0 victory at Ibrox. Philippe Clement was in charge in the game that went to penalties in the League Cup final, and it was both really good performances. I don't think necessarily these are the games where Rangers have really struggled. I think it was Mark that said it before the game. It's the other games, is when they have to beat people at Ibrox. It's when they have to break down low blocks. What I will say is, since Barry Ferguson's came in, they've showed bundles of character. I thought they showed bundles of character to come back against Kilmarnock. I thought they showed plenty of character against Fenerbahce over the two legs, and I thought they showed immense character today. Because listen, it would have been so easy when Celtic brought it back to 2 each for the players to get a bit rigid, a bit nervy, and try and sit back at the edge of the box and try and defend what they have. But they showed so much character to get back into the flow of the game and eventually go and get that third goal. But I still think, for the most part, I think Rangers' struggles has been elsewhere, and I still think it remains to be seen whether they overcome that for now at the end of the season.
Is that not fair, Craig? If Barry Ferguson, he's not got that long left, but if Barry Ferguson could take this team on a long run where they go away to Motherwell and win, and St Mirren and win, and Hibs and win, and so on, would that not actually be the biggest sign that things were different?
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with Andy. I totally agree with what he's saying. I'm just pointing out these individual Old Firm games where Rangers have just been so far behind for so long, and it just seems as if when Gerrard came in, it was a case of, you're actually feeling confident going to an Old Firm game. But yeah, Andy's right. It is the bigger picture. The league as a whole has been the problem. Now, if you look at it, let's go out of one here and say Rangers win the next Old Firm game, right? That's 3 out of 4 Old Firm games Rangers have won, scoring X amount, and still lost the league by how many? So it is, the biggest problem is these other teams that, you should be expected to win.
What's your take then, Mark, on the theory? Because I feel like Andy's response seems quite accurate, but Craig's not entirely wrong, maybe, to suggest that players are now treating things differently.
I think you always get an upturn when someone new comes in, and I think with Barry Ferguson and his history, maybe there is a shift in mentality. I think you can get that message across verbally in the dressing room to players where everything is doom and gloom, and you see your season going one way. All of a sudden somebody comes in with a bit of a stronger character, if you like, and maybe a bit forceful with his mentality and thinking, and the players could take belief of that. But the way the players get belief is by good results, of course. And I think away at Fenerbahce, that adds to the belief. Okay, they got beat the other night, but you still go through. So again, it's added to the mentality that they're not a bad side because they're in the quarter-final of Europa League, and then you go to Celtic Park and you score 3 goals. So it can only help, but it has to do in the next part of it. And you're right, going away to Dundee or wherever, or Motherwell, and picking up maximum points in those occasions. It's quite funny, the parallels between, I've said before, when Neil Lennon got put in interim charge and this spell for Barry Ferguson, it's quite, uncanny, where he had to go in, he had an Old Firm game to manage, he had a couple of tricky fixtures in there, and he sailed through it. He ended up getting a job. I wonder if that's going to take the same pattern in the summer.
Yeah, you can look back and think, right, okay, and there's arguments, and Andy said it perfectly there about Clement. He was in charge of big games and big performances. What I think's helped Barry, and I really like, because everybody used to criticise Clement about there's no style, there's no identification of what Rangers are trying to do. They went to a 3, and no other Rangers manager for a long time went with a back 3 and 2 wing backs. And over against Fenerbahce, I thought they were excellent, right? And they looked like everyone knew what their job was. Yes, they come back to Ibrox, they eventually changed to 4, get through in penalties. They went to Celtic Park today, and you've got to say they went in worthy of a 2-0 lead. And it was the back three, the way they pressed Celtic, everything about them. I just think that everything else, a change of voice, change of different routines, just a change can spark players. There's not much pressure on because they're not going to win the league. But I've got to say, over the last few days, they've been excellent and take nothing away from them.
What does this all say about Barry Ferguson and his job prospects, Craig?
I'm not going to sit here and speak for every Rangers fan out there, because I don't think he will get the job. I mean, let's be honest, a couple of sunny days in the winter doesn't make the summer, you know what I mean? He's done great so far in what he's done, apart from the result last week against I can't think Motherwell, that's what. She's fine, thanks.
No.
Apart from that one, I mean, the style, at least we've got a bit of an identity now, and that's my point. I just don't, maybe Clement wasn't relaying the messages over to the players well enough. I don't know what it was, but Gordon, Andy and Mark are all 100% spot on. Sometimes that change of voice is all it's needed. Sometimes it's that different take on things, maybe explaining things different. I don't know. I don't play football. I'm too fat for that. I mean, I just think there's definitely something happened over the last couple of weeks where you're like, you know what, this is actually quite enjoyable. And I think Camanity, they were absolutely outstanding.
Thank you very much to Craig and Linwood. 0141 951 1025. 7.5 gone in the Dundee derby. Dundee United 0, Dundee 0. Not a great deal happening. It's frantic, as you would expect. Really, really frantic. Let's go to Brian, who's on the line. How are you, Brian?
All right, pal.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking tonight?
Well, I honestly believe that the referee and VAR are a disgrace today. And for the amount of fouls and try to destroy and hurt Maeda, I think they were disgraceful. And the referee, even the last one, Milon's against Maeda, they got a foul, no yellow card, no nothing. Egerman, he should have got a yellow card 5 minutes before he scored. Great goal, but it was a disgrace for VAR and the referee the day after.
Brian, is this just this automatic thing? If your team gets beat in this fixture, you have to blame the ref? Because you've mentioned 2 players should have been booked, and then you've said VAR's a disgrace. VAR doesn't give out yellow cards, right? Only the ref can do that. As far as right, so there was no big match altering decisions there, was there?
Let's be honest. If he gave a yellow card, if he gave a yellow card to somebody, you telling me some of the tackles against Maeda were just?
Brian, I'm not saying the ref gets everything right, but are you seriously, your takeaway from that game today was the refereeing performance?
Yes, the referee and VAR.
That's astonishing, because
I honestly think they tried to hurt Maeda.
That's incredible. Look, there was a challenger made. I think we said it at the time during the game. You're going to get that, but Mark, my goodness, how many derbies have we seen? And we have week, fortnight, month-long fallouts about refereeing decisions, and VAR take the cup final. We've had goals ruled out. We've had penalties given. This was not one of those days, and there is no point in pretending otherwise.
No. I think Celtic will have to look at themselves, and Brendan Rodgers will certainly be looking at his tactics and his team rather than the referee. Of course, there was a couple of late challenges, and look, Brian might be right, maybe a couple of yellow cards, but nothing else. And purely Celtic's performance, if you look across their back line, I would say probably 3 of them really poor. Their goalkeeper, I thought, poor in his decision making as well today. Engels, poor as well. So you go through the full team before you get to the referee, I'm afraid.
Brian, surely Celtic need to be looking at their own performance, themselves rather than the ref. Because again, even if you're saying like a booking here or there, that's not enough to really have a big impact in the game, is it?
No, but it's the violence against Maeda I was concerned about.
It wasn't violence, though, was it?
I really believe. Well, that's what you see and that's what I see.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think he took a
to
couple of
take the
knocks,
guy out.
Brian. He took a couple of knocks. We will all agree with you in that, right? But I'm sure when your manager,
a couple of knocks.
right? But I'm sure when your manager comes out and does his press, he ain't going to have a look at the referee and VAR. He's going to have a look at his players. He's going to have a look at the performance and how disappointing they are. So as much as you can go on about, there was a lot of fouls against Maeda, a couple of knocks. Yeah, you could argue maybe it could have been a yellow card. We can all argue that point. But you can't take anything away. Celtic were really poor today in long spells of the game. But you've got to give, I know you won't, but you've got to give Rangers a bit of credit.
I actually feel like, Andy, by our mad standards, and especially when it's heightened in this fixture, that is about as close as you could get to a non-eventful day on the disciplinary front.
Do you know what, Gordon? I didn't actually see it, but honestly I sat here thinking that, do you know what, it's quite refreshing that we've had one of these games and we're not going to be talking about the referee for a full week, and within 15 minutes Brian's proved me wrong, because I thought for the most part today I don't think the referee and VAR had any sort of major big decisions to be made. Listen, if you're debating whether certain tackles could be fouls or certain tackles can be yellow card, that's fair enough. But I think you mentioned the key one. There was no game defining decision today. So the Rangers, the reason that Rangers won the game today is because they scored 3 goals, 3 legitimate goals, and Celtic scored 2 legitimate goals.
Brian's not getting much support in the studio, Marvin. Come on, give him something.
No, I can't. Honestly, I can't. Listen, there was a couple of tackles, like you said. Obviously, being live at the game as well, you don't get the replays back. But no, listen, I'm in amongst the Celtic fans where I'm sitting, and none of them were really up in arms. Yes, they were frustrated at times with Maeda maybe getting kicked to the Lawrence one just outside the Rangers dugout. But yeah, I can't lend any support to that, unfortunately.
Sorry, Brian, we'll agree to disagree. That was Brian from Cumbernauld. We thought there was a goal in the Dundee derby. Lyle Cameron, who of course is heading for Rangers in the summer, scored, but there was an offside in the build-up through Adewumi, and the goal doesn't stand. I know Dundee United have been felt that they've been hard done by VAR over the recent period, but good job it was there, because it's not really one Andy spotted, Andy. It's just a long ball up to Adewumi, who's kind of tussling with the defender, then play goes on, goal scored.
Yeah, that's actually, for me, that's a perfect example of VAR being used, because we watched the game live and I never for 1 minute thought there was any infringement, any offside. It looked as if it was a perfectly legitimate goal, but we've just seen it back there, and Adewumi's ever so slightly offside, and disappointing for Dundee, because listen, it was a well worked goal. Simon Murray holds it off. I think it's Josh Milligan that bursts through and gets a shot. I think Jack Walton will be disappointed that he doesn't manage to get a stronger wrist to parry to safety, but it doesn't matter, still 0-0.
Dundee have started well here. Dundee United pressing them high up the pitch, but they're just going a bit more direct. So disappointing start for United, but they're lucky not to be behind.
Yeah, Dundee doing well. I was the same with Andy. I thought it was a perfectly good goal. It's a game that for me, with St Johnstone drawn yesterday, they need a win. They've not been in good form. They're losing a lot of goals, but they can take a bit of encouragement from the first opening 13-14 minutes. They've been excellent.
Jordan is in Broxburn. Take it away, Jordan.
Afternoon, gents. What a great game that was. But I think Andy just stole my thunder for what I phoned in to say. I think it's one of the first Old Firms that we've had where we can't actually say the referee had a terrible performance. We need to praise the referee for today, because there hasn't been, I wouldn't say, a controversial moment. Contrary to what I think it was Brian just said, I think he tried to make the best excuses possible for a poor Celtic performance. But today, we deserved to win, and I wouldn't have put it down to a poor refereeing performance at all. I think it needs to actually be praised.
Yep, well, we'll see if there's not much to discuss. Maybe it just proves once and for all that there is no such thing as that fixture passing by without a comment about the ref. But anyway, what's your kind of wider thoughts on how it went today, Jordan?
Yeah, it was really just to ask Andy, because I know he was on another broadcasting platform the other day. And he pointed out that he's very good friends with Alan McGregor, and I wondered if he thinks that having people like Alan McGregor and Barry Ferguson, Neil McCann in the coaching and in the management side has made a difference, because I don't believe we would have won on Thursday or got the result we got on Thursday, nor won today, if we didn't have people that would make substitutions when we really needed them, because he brought on 3 players when we were really desperately needing to bring players on, and Clement wouldn't have done that. Clement would have just sat back and let their game go for a 2-2 result, and we'd have claimed that would have been a great game.
If I'm being completely honest with you, Jordan, I don't think it has a huge bearing on the game, to be honest. Listen, I think it helps having people within the club that knows what it's about, that's experienced the fixture or whatnot. But let's not. I mean, Rangers were 2 penalties away from having a completely different conversation that we were today. You know, they were penalties away from going out on Thursday night. But the fact of the matter is, they weren't. They went through. They got a great result today. So listen, I do think it helps, but I don't. What's most important is you have a brand of football on the pitch that wins you games, and you've got a good.
Andy,
yep.
How was Jack Butland able to save a penalty now, but he couldn't save a penalty to save his life? Now Alan McGregor's coming and he's doing classic Alan McGregor moves and he's saving penalties. There's got to be an input there.
Listen, I love Griggsy to bits, but you think within a week he's turned Jack Butland into a penalty saving masterclass?
Definitely, I think he has, because he couldn't save a penalty to save his life before. So.
This is where it's really tough, Marvin, because it's a small sample. Barry Ferguson's just in, and I don't grudge any Rangers fan who wants to praise him, because that's not wrong. But at the same time, if you were Philippe Clement right now, you'd be saying, well, I also could win in Europe, because he could, and he also could beat Celtic and score goals against Celtic, because he could. So it's not to say Jordan or any other Rangers fan is wrong to say that Barry Ferguson's made a big difference. I just wonder if we've found out yet, or if we've got the right evidence.
Yeah, I don't think there's been enough games, has there, for us to really have a big enough sample size of what Barry Ferguson has done. Listen, it's a fantastic result today. As Andy spoke about there, they were penalties away from going out on Thursday, but they've gone through. So, that's 2 massive ticks for him. But, the biggest difference for me being at this game today was that there was more direction from Rangers. You could actually see what they were trying to do, both in possession and out of possession. And I think for far too long under Philippe Clement, at times it was just off the cuff, and we spoke about it, endlessly. So that's been a difference. But yeah, listen, you can't write off totally what Philippe Clement has done, because there were some good results within there. I just like the Jack Butland comment. Now he can save a penalty. That's fantastic.
Jordan, is this? Have you been kind of team Barry Ferguson getting the job long term right from the start? You now been won over. How do you feel?
Well, honestly, I don't believe he'll get the job. I think that the new owner's coming in will look for somebody a bit more glamorous, but we must keep him within the club, within the coaching side. He's taken the job. I said before, the job was a poison chalice when he took it. He took the job and he's managed to get us results that I don't believe Clement would have got. So at least keep him in there doing something, but I can't see him getting the job.
What is it on that then that we said? What is it that makes you think Clement wouldn't have got these results, even though he did beat Celtic the last time and he did do fairly well in Europe?
He didn't have the cliche, you've lost the dressing room. I believe he did lose the dressing room. They were only following out the instructions they were given, and towards the end it was getting ridiculous to what was going on. So I believe a new change, the cliche new manager bounce has done us a favour, and there's players actually playing for the shirt now rather than just playing for a wage.
Thank you very much to Jordan. 0141 951 1025. It is now 1-0 to Dundee. It's a great header from Jordan McGee, who puts Dundee in front.
Go on, Andy, I'll let you describe it.
You let me describe it because it's a future Motherwell man that scores a goal this time. You were saying Lyle Cameron, future Rangers player, but it's Jordan McGee. It's a fantastic header, you've got to say. It's just a quick throw in down the left hand side. I'm not sure if it was Larkesh that swings a great ball in for the left hand side, and Jordan McGee actually does really well. It looks as if the ball's almost slightly behind him, but just manages to stretch his neck muscles, get it behind him and direct it into the bottom corner. But Dundee they've started the game extremely well.
I agree with that, certainly deserved, and I agree with your point on it was a terrific header, a real good header. He's still a lot to do. Dundee unlucky with the first goal, just narrowly offside, but dominating this derby. I didn't see that coming.
Dundee United have been poor, not started yet. Good start for Dundee. You don't see diving headers often, do you? Great goal.
Back to Maddie.
Back to your day.
Yeah. You've seen a few, Maddie.
Did I hear that last week or the week before that you think you'd have covered 13k in a game when you were playing?
12 and a bit, yeah.
Not a chance.
Anyway, we're going to hear from Barry Ferguson and Brendan Rodgers when we return.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair, with hire cars on the bench to keep you in the game during repairs.
Marvin Bartley, have you been kicked out of Celtic Park yet? You still allowed to stay?
Yeah, I'm still allowed to stay, mate. I got the Dundee game on, so I'm just in that second goal. Wow.
Well, I was going to get to that, but what a schoolboy error from him. Inexperience, Marvin. See if that's Gordon Dalziel. Do you know what he says? Oh, sorry, the security have asked me to leave. I need to go. Then he gets sent home from his work early.
I'm waiting for my lift though, so it doesn't make any difference to me, lads.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
He's actually just asked to leave in the studio.
Gordon Dalziel has just asked, can I...
I'll take your place.
Deadly serious. During the break, he said, "Can I leave because it's my birthday?" 63 years of age and wants sent home from his work.
I think we should let him go.
I'd let you go.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're on the live stream. We can't just have a big empty
People
seat.
don't miss me. We'll just move over.
I'll wait to the next break. Maybe we'll think about it. Why? What birthday plans have you got on Sunday
what are you up
afternoon?
to,
Where are you going?
I'm just going to my family. I get my family together for a nice meal.
I met your sister this morning. She said you're
you're
not. I did.
No,
Asda.
Did
Mother.
you?
Such
What
a
was she
bad
buying
liar.
me? She's not
Cakes.
buying me a present at
Nah,
Asda,
no.
Shirley.
Anyway, it was a lie, but nevertheless, Marvin, spoiler from him, Dundee United 0, Dundee 2. Now I'm struggling because Andy Halliday will come in here on a Monday night tomorrow and he'll pick his howler of the weekend. How hard's it going to be to see by that Dundee United goalie?
It's going to be difficult not to repeat it tomorrow at 6:05 because Jack Walton will not want to see that again. You know, I think it was Tiffany, wasn't it? Just cuts in for the left hand side, and you know he gets a decent bit of power behind him. It's straight down the middle with Jack Walton, and it doesn't even. You know, sometimes I give goalies sometimes the benefit of it, but bounces before them, they kind of misjudge it. But straight into his midriff, and he just doesn't get behind the ball at all, and it just keeps into the back of the net. But it's no more than Dundee deserve, and even since they've made it 2, they've still had a couple of half chances again.
Simon Murray had a sitter where he actually spins in the 6-yard box and an empty goal and he puts it wide. So what a start for Dundee United. Dreadful.
Certainly shakes things up at the bottom of the table as well.
Well, they certainly, I said earlier, they certainly need it. St Johnstone getting I would call it a good point at home against Aberdeen yesterday. Closes that gap. Dundee sitting just above them. I think everybody fancied the home team, home advantage. We know a derby can go anyway. We've seen it this afternoon. But on this evidence, Dundee have been really worthy of their 2-0 lead.
Don't forget, we are here until 4 o'clock, so it's 0141 951 1025. Give us a call right now, whether you are on the team that's the side that's celebrating this afternoon or not. We are here for you. Let's go Brendan Rodgers first as the home manager. Here's what he had to say.
We're obviously disappointed with the result. Probably a draw is a fair result, but yeah, give credit to Rangers. They win the game. We didn't start, inside the first 5 minutes. Our idea to make a quick start. We conceded a poor goal. I think all 3 goals. In all fairness, from positions that we should be in control of, we concede. And but yeah, so I thought first half not so good. Second half we get the early goal, really good goal. And then from that, it looks like then we're the team that is in the ascendancy and can go on and win the game, get to 2 each. Yeah, there's a good feeling, good energy in the stadium, and then I just hope for us to go and make the next steps to get the goals. I think Jack Butler made some great saves throughout the day. But if you can't win it, don't lose it. And unfortunately, we make a mistake towards the end of the game, and the striker finishes it really well. So really disappointing.
Yeah, I don't think you would grudge Celtic a draw today, Mark, if we're being honest. No. But it's also the type of fixture that doesn't really matter. It's just all about the outcome, and then you sort of move on.
He was a bit hesitant there. Brendan Rodgers kind of maybe lost for words there a wee bit. Didn't give much detail. He said Butland made some good saves throughout the day. I can only remember really one top one from Hatate, maybe the headers right at him. I'm trying to rack my brain for any other ones. Celtic were just off it today. The tempo just wasn't there. But he highlights the start of the game, and that's where Rangers got it right. I know within 30 seconds they get a free kick, but they sustained that pressure for a good 3.5, 4 minutes. Didn't allow Celtic out. And he's right, Celtic look for a quick start in these games to pin you back, and they didn't get it this afternoon.
Olivia is a Celtic fan on the line. How does it feel then tonight, Olivia?
It's obviously disappointing. You want to go and you want to win, especially the derby games. So yeah, I think we're missing the key players there, which is obviously Trusty and McGregor. But I think the important thing that we need to try and keep our heads up is that we are 13 points clear. And I think in 2 months' time the picture could be different.
Again, that's it, Gordon. We said today can really alter the big picture. But at the same time, that's why these games are so important, because they come along and the fallout's massive, and it will be whether the table is what it is or not.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Olivia's saying about the end result. But even just now, with Celtic dominating the league, and obviously they've got the first silverware in the trophy cabinet, they're in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. All the talk leading up to this game was the hurt from the Ibrox game, and at New Year. So these games, they're different. Look, as much as you can shrug it off, you can say, right, okay, hold on, it doesn't matter. Deep down inside just now, for the next couple of days, if you're a Celtic fan, that hurts, because Celtic fans went along there thinking, this is a drubbing this afternoon for Rangers. And they were full of confidence. Look, take nothing away from Celtic. So far this season, they've been absolutely brilliant. But today, I think the credit goes to the other side, the City Rangers. I think they really done their homework. Their first half, they went in 2-0. They should have went in probably more. Celtic dominated a little bit, but I don't think they've done enough to win the game.
Lovely goal from Glenn Middleton to pull one back for Dundee United, left-footed outside the box into the top corner. Olivia, you're undeniably right. We couldn't argue with the league table and the arithmetic and what's going to happen, but do you not think Brendan Rodgers might be even a little bit concerned or have some food for thought, given how high his standards are, to have lost back-to-back games by and concede 3 goals in each one?
Yeah, I mean, it's Rangers. They did seem more hungry today. They came there and obviously they did play better. And a draw, you were thinking a draw would be enough to kind of stop the hurt as much. But yeah, I think the two key players been missing. I think that lineup, when I seen that lineup, I thought this isn't going to go maybe how we think it's going to go, being at home and having the support there. But yeah, I think there's a lot for them to think about. We definitely need someone there if McGregor's not going to be there. Plus replacement, that's the first he's played all season.
Yeah, what do you think, Andy? Because you were sort of there in part of it, and I'm being loose in the comparison. But from the outside, it always felt like Steven Gerrard time. The first steps were the head-to-heads. Can you even beat Celtic on a one-off day? Right, fine, you've done that. Can you do it again? Then once you can do that, can you start being consistent against everybody else? I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but surely Brendan Rodgers won't just be writing this off and saying, well, listen, 13 points clear.
No, my thoughts are that I don't think it changes too much in the bigger picture, certainly from a Celtic point of view. The only thing it maybe affect is how they recruit in the summer window, but I think from a Rangers perspective, I think the huge bonus is psychologically. Proving to yourself that you can beat Celtic, proving to yourself that you can beat Celtic twice in a row, and proving to yourself you can go to Celtic Park and win. That's probably the first time that maybe 80% of that squad have won an Old Firm game at Celtic Park. So again, it's that psychological boost, that psychological aspect for the group that going into next season, you've got that little nugget there that, you know what, we've been here, we've won here. Can we go and do it again? But like you says, the bigger picture of a Rangers' point of view is, can you beat everyone else to make it more into a title race than it has been this year? In theory, Mark, and I know Rangers have defied this season, the learning how to beat everybody else should be easier.
Yeah.
Because Celtic are better. So that should be the hard bit. I'm not saying that this automatically means Rangers are going to win the league or anything next season, but it can't be a complete irrelevance. That's now 9 goals in 3 games scored, back-to-back wins, 1 at home, 1 away, so there's a bit of a spread there.
Yeah, it's a huge step, because that's what will win you titles. Of course, you need to make those steps, and with that comes a mentality that spreads throughout the squad. Going into these fixtures again, it is difficult sustaining it throughout a season, but that's where they need to go, the next hurdle. But you're right, Brendan Rodgers has to figure out, how to stop conceding such easy goals against Rangers. 9 goals in 3 games is hugely disappointing, and they're all avoidable. I'm not taking anything away from Rangers, but what individual errors in there, what mistakes, that'll be a concern for them over this break.
Because Marvin, most top teams or most dominant teams in various leagues around the world, their whole mindset generally is if you can control the games, it gives you the best chance of winning. And what control tends to mean is having the ball. We spoke about it earlier. That's not getting Celtic the results in these fixtures at the moment.
No, it's not. And, just looking at today's one, it was what they were doing with the ball. Like you said, that possession stat is quite a wide stat, isn't it? If you look at where Celtic actually had it and how many forward passes they played and how many times they hurt Rangers, they were few and far between. And I think that would be the most frustrating thing for Brendan Rodgers, as Andy speaking about their summer recruitment in terms of bringing a never-holding midfielder. Engels, for me, that isn't the position for him. That isn't his strongest position. And you can't have a bigger drop-off as they had today with McGregor coming out of the team because, as he does get older and he has to miss more games, they can't afford to play this way. I know he's played in previous ones. He obviously played against Hibs when they lost to Hibs, but just today they were so far off of it, and that's going to be a huge worry for him.
Thank you, Olivia. Let's hear from Brendan Rodgers then. This is what we heard from him a second ago. Sorry, Barry Ferguson next up. Here's what he made of it.
Yeah, it's certainly a good feeling coming to your fiercest rivals and deserving to win the game. So I just said to the players, listen, go and enjoy the next couple of days, because it's been a long time, I think 5 years, but I think if you look at the game overall, we deserved it. I thought the first half was that was the game plan we came with. I thought the boys stuck to it perfectly. The second half, you always know Celtic are going to come at you because the crowd's getting frustrated. I thought Brendan would make a change or two. He certainly did that. It made a difference to the Celtic team. They obviously get back into the game at 2 each. But then I take a step back, and what I've been trying to drum into the boys, it's more you need at Rangers than being a good player. It's been labelled, used guys, everybody in the media about character, and this is one of the things I stress to them when I come in. It takes a certain type to be a very good Rangers player, and my group of players are certainly starting to show that.
Character's a word we keep hearing. Andy, is that tested, I take it, when you go away to Celtic Park? I know there was a section now of Rangers fans, but should be a difficult environment to handle.
Yeah, and especially Celtic coming back for a 2-goal deficit and then finding enough within yourself to get the winning goal. So I think that is I think from a Rangers point of view, the most pleasing aspect would be the character that they showed today. And I agree with what Barry Ferguson said in terms of the first half. You could see exactly what they were trying to do in terms of their game plan. It was allow Celtic to have the ball in certain areas of the pitch and try and press really aggressively, specifically the two centre halves and standing on the Engels. And again, was that maybe fatigue that played a factor in the second half, where they kind of sat off a little bit more, allowed Celtic into the game? But that being said, I don't think Celtic done anywhere near enough to hit them.
I think he's got to take a lot of credit. You look at the last 4 days, he's taken on Jose Mourinho, he's went to Celtic Park and taken on Brendan Rodgers and beaten both. I know that obviously Mourinho won the game over the time, but over a tie, he beats the both of them, which is absolutely brilliant, because when Barry came into the hot seat, he got a lot of criticism about who he'd managed. But the one thing, to be fair to him, and the credit goes to him, is he's got a bunch of players there. He's found, for me, a good system. He's worked at it. His substitutions have made an impact. And as much as he's telling his players to go enjoy a few days off, I'm sure he needs a little bit of rest just to sit back and take stock of what's happened.
Because, Marvin, everybody knows that the level Barry Ferguson's managed at before, it's there in black and white, and it felt like outside Rangers there probably is an element, or there was an element of people just waiting on it, not working and waiting on it going a bit south. But you look at Europe and now that's a bit of a feather in his cap, isn't it?
It definitely is, and we had the conversation on the show, didn't we, when people were calling up about it, and I said, that these are players who are playing at a level that he played at, so it doesn't make him a bad manager because he managed at a lower level. And no disrespect to the players he's managing at Kelty and Clyde and Alloa, they weren't nowhere near the level of him. So maybe it's easier for him to get his message across. He doesn't have to tell them 100 times. He can maybe tell them once or twice, and the players are understanding it. And he's coming up with game plans to win games. We spoke about it there, them now going to 3 at the back, something that we would have never expected Rangers to do. So he's tweaking things when he needs to. He credited Brendan Rodgers for tweaking things at half time and Celtic coming out. But a good side, when you face adversity, you come back from it, and they did that. 2-0 up, 2-2, then they go on to win it 3-2, and the substitutions were fantastic. You look at Igerman at one end scoring a fantastic goal, and unfortunately again Adam Eder at the other end found wanting.
Is that a concern?
But I was just going to touch on Rangers there, but Barry Ferguson, everyone says about character and the standards that he sets, but tactically he's got it right as well, hasn't he? Because he's changed the shape. It's easy going in and just playing the same shape and trying to verbally get things across, but he's changed tactics away to Fenerbahce. He changed in-game against Fenerbahce when they were getting overrun, and he changed today, and all had positive results.
What about the other side of it? The fallout, the bigger picture for Celtic is maybe not in sharp focus, because, as everybody keeps saying, they're going to win the league. They'll probably win a treble. You criticised Arnie Engels a bit today, all play in a different role. Did Adamida have anywhere near the impact you want coming on?
Certainly not. It just was anonymous. I think when you've got a striker like him, he obviously needs service. I didn't think Celtic got the ball in the wide areas enough to put anything across for him, but I still think you've got to be more involved if you're Ida. So another disappointing afternoon for him.
Dundee United 1, Dundee 3 now, and it is a stunner from Jordan McGee, his second. This has been a brilliant game, by the way, really good, some top quality goals. See, if you watched the Glasgow derby and you've not watched the Dundee version, what happens? I think that Rio Hatate shot,
spot on, yeah,
where Jack Butland tips it away, it's the exact same, only Jordan McGee finds the top corner. So the Old Firm game, not the only show in town today, the Dundee version living up to the hype as well. So looking forward to the rest of this one, and we'll hear more managerial reaction from Celtic Park when we return.
It's Clyde 1 Super Scoreboards Open Line 0141 951 1025.
What a game this Dundee derby is. Dundee thought they were 4-1 up, then the goal got ruled out due to an offside in the build up. So Dundee are 3-1 up. They've had 2 goals.
2 goals
Yes.
this Val, yeah.
Look, Dundee United in a good position in the table, Mark. The reception Jim Goodwin and his players are about to get gone off at half time into that corner, and it would have been even worse, obviously, had that goal stood.
Well, Marv described some of the defending earlier on from Celtic as comical. It's been exactly the same, if not worse, from Dundee United. I mean, Dundee have been brilliant, by the way, in terms of getting the ball forward, but United all over the place at the back.
By the way, what an advert for Scottish football we've had today over our 2 games. This game, the first 45 minutes, has been incredible. It's been that good we've not even realised that Gordon Dale's left.
What do you think, Daz? He's not here.
He's just walked out because it's his birthday.
Yeah, strange.
That is pathetic. A man of 63.
What is he doing with that spare 15 minutes that he's going to save? What is he going to be up to?
I could take a good guess.
Marvin, are you having that? I mean, you're actually at the game. You're still there. They're locking up Celtic Park, and this old man has walked out because it's his birthday.
They're actually cleaning around me, and he's decided to get out of the studio. What a guy, though. I mean, you did say to him, though, he could potentially leave if he needed to. So, listen, you take a bit of blame as well.
Come on. Anyway, what we're saying is, in terms of the derby games, it's a bad day for home favourites in the city derbies. Is that what you're telling me? Dundee United and Celtic shaking hands on it. Let's hear more from both managers. Brendan Rodgers speaks about the omission, or the absence, I should say, of Callum McGregor.
Yeah, I think we missed Callum today. I don't think there's any doubt in that. I mentioned before about the tactical balance he gives the team. You know, he's the guy that opens up everything for us. His movement, his quality, his touch gets us through the pitch nice and quickly. So you could see it wasn't anywhere near as fluid. That's the reality. So, but we have to step up and other players, because if he's not playing, then we need to be better.
And a bit more from Barry Ferguson on that buzzword that keeps coming up at the moment, character.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it in the last couple of games. You've seen it on Thursday night.